Attorney General Catherine Hanaway is going on offense against the redistricting map by filing a federal lawsuit to block a public vote, citing constitutional concerns.
I'm Scott Jagow.
I'm Sean Malone. Back in the 70s, the St. Louis City Sheriff was also behind bars and refusing to resign. Coming up, I speak with a politician from that time.
Consumer groups are urging regulators to further slash Ameren's requested natural gas rate hike after administrative judges suggested the utilities asking Illinois customers for too much.
I'm Joe Pott. In the National League, we nearly have a World Series contender. In the American League, we're all square. Baseball highlights coming up in sports.
Mid-America's most trusted voice for news. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Eggland's Best.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. President Trump is shifting his focus from the ceasefire in Gaza to the war in Ukraine today. He'll meet with President Zelensky at the White House after suggesting he may not sell Ukraine U.S.-made missiles after all. Russia expert Beth Noble.
Presidents Trump and Zelensky spoke earlier this week about the U.S. possibly supplying Ukraine with something called Tomahawk missiles. Those have a much longer range than anything provided to the Ukrainian military so far by the U.S. or its allies. Now, these Tomahawks could potentially be used to hit targets deep inside Russia. And so the Kremlin's already said that doing this would be seen as an escalation of the war.
Kremlin says many questions need resolving before President Trump and Vladimir Putin go through with a planned summit in Budapest. CBS News has learned the U.S. has taken out the sixth boat off the coast of Venezuela in more than a month that the administration claims was carrying drugs. Connecticut Senator Richard Blumenthal among Democrats questioning Mr. Trump's newly authorized covert CIA operations inside the South American nation.
Small wars have a way of going awry, costing lives and dollars for our nation.
President Trump's former national security advisor turned foe, John Bolton's been indicted on charges of mishandling classified documents. Bolton chalks it up to politics. Former federal prosecutor Scott Frederickson.
There are thousands of instances of classified documents that end up in former government officials' hands, if you will, or at their homes, and they're never charged.
At least 4 universities have said thanks but no thanks to a White House offer to expand access to federal funding in exchange for demands. CBS's Michael Wallace.
Those demands include no longer considering sex and ethnicity in admissions, capping international enrollment, and shutting down programs that punish conservative ideas. USC and Penn rejected the compact yesterday, joining Brown and MIT. The other 5 schools offered the deal have yet to announce a decision. Harvard, which was not offered the compact, says it ended its fiscal year with a $113 million deficit after the Trump administration froze $2.2 billion of its federal funding.
Sad news for rock fans. Kiss founding lead guitarist Ace Frehley has died. The Rock and Roll Hall of Famer explained the band's jam.
Bigger is always better, no matter what you hear. Bigger is better. Everything Kiss does is big.
Frehley's death comes weeks after he fell at his home in New Jersey. Former bandmates Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons call him an irreplaceable rock soldier. Frehley was 74. This is CBS News.
Eggland's Best. The only eggs with more fresh and delicious taste, plus superior nutrition. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
At 6:03, we have mostly cloudy skies and 62 downtown at the Gateway Arch. Good morning. I'm Scott Jagow.
And I'm Debbie Monterrey. If you plan to attend No Kings rallies across the region this weekend, other than the weather, there are some do's and don'ts of demonstrating that you should know.
KMOX legal analyst Brad Young says in most cases you can assemble on sidewalks or in public places like parks without a permit, but you can't block other people's access. You can use bullhorns, but if it's too noisy, law enforcement can tell you to quiet down, and you're within your rights to record the police.
That's completely legal in the United States. You can pull out your phones and record anything that's happening in the public.
Young points out protesters cannot block traffic or emergency routes. They can't commit mob actions like busting into cars or setting things on fire, and they're not allowed to trespass on private property. If groups want to stage a counter demonstration, they are within their rights to do so. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
The Striking Machinists Union has now filed a federal labor complaint against Boeing.
In a charge filed with the National Labor Relations Board, the union accuses the company of refusing to bargain in good faith. The union says Boeing has repeatedly rejected its proposals without making any counteroffers. The two sides have been locked in a strike since early August.
Administrative law judges have recommended Ameren, Illinois, cut its natural gas rate hike request by a third. Consumer advocates like Jim Chilson with the Illinois Citizens Utility Board want state regulators to go even further.
For the sake of Ameren's customers who have suffered through one gas rate hike after another, we urge the Illinois Commerce Commission to go far beyond the proposed order and slash Ameren's money grab.
Ameren is requesting a nearly $129 million rate hike that could add an additional $10 a month to the average residential gas bill. Consumer groups argue Ameren's asking for an excessive amount of profit and that the utility has been spending more than it needs to on improvements. In a statement to KMOX, Ameren's Senior Director of Gas Operations, Brad Kleppel, says the investments are necessary to meet federal pipeline safety requirements, reduce leaks, and provide reliable service. He adds the utility evaluates methods to reach that compliance at the lowest possible cost and says Ameren, Illinois, does take steps to purchase and store natural gas in the summer when prices are typically lower.
It's complete lawlessness in the city sheriff's department with Sheriff Alfred Montgomery behind bars. So says Missouri's Attorney General Catherine Hanaway.
What we need is the state court judge to remove him from office and the governor to appoint a new sheriff.
That judge admonished the Attorney General's office in the last hearing for being aggressive. The next one is October 20th. Hanaway says she doesn't know who will oversee the office in charge of the courthouse security and jail transport until then.
There's no provision in the law for this sort of interim acting sheriff. Clearly, the Sheriff Montgomery can't carry out his duties from jail. It's a mess.
Nearly half a century ago, the St. Louis City Sheriff found himself in similar trouble.
In 1978, then Sheriff Benjamin Goins was found guilty of 6 counts of corruption and tax evasion from his time as the city's license collector. Similar to today, the first-year sheriff refused to resign his position. Former Mayor Vincent Schamel was in his first years as an alderman back then.
I wasn't in any inner circles down there. I didn't have any inside scoop, but you could tell that there was sort of a sense that we had to get on top of this.
His advice to Montgomery?
It'd be best for him, it'd be best for the city, it'd be best for everybody if he would leave and just work out the best deal he can work out and get on with life.
Schamel says he isn't sure if voters knew what they were getting when they elected Montgomery to the job. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
For St. Mary's Southside Catholic High School, a state scholarship program is a, quote, tremendous tool for both keeping the school open and keeping its neighborhood stable.
For a place like ours, where 97% of our kids need financial aid, for families whose son is coming into the school with a More scholarship of about, I believe the number is $6,450. That's a great benefit, not just to his family, but also to our school.
England says it can be the deciding factor for families weighing whether they can afford to stay in the city or move into a county district. Critics point out 98% of the scholarship funds go to religious schools, arguing that violates the separation of church and state.
The Business Desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. Drivers in the St. Louis area paying less at the pump today, but they're still not seeing the cheapest prices in the state. While the average here dropped to $2.77 a gallon, that's still well above the state's low. It's $2.52 in Joplin. AAA says overall prices are down 6 cents statewide in the past week, and that trend is expected to continue thanks to falling oil prices and weaker demand.
In Illinois, K-12 proficiency rates in reading and math are stagnant despite billions in new school funding. I'm Stuart McMillan with that story.
That's coming up after traffic and weather together. It's 6:08.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 6:10. Let's get you caught up on traffic and weather. Roger Brand leads us off here in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the highways are doing all right on a Friday morning, Debbie. They're light and on the go. Don't have any incidents on the interstate, so we just have a little slowdown right now. You know, it keeps shifting, but right now what we're looking at is a slowdown. Northbound 55 from A, about midway up to McNutt. It opens up before you get to that point. Westbound 64, that little slowdown we had at Lake St. Louis Boulevard thinned out. And it also looks better eastbound 70. We had some delays coming through Wright City 10 minutes ago. Looks like we're back on track for you there as well. So the rest of the interstates are incident-free. I think just a little slowdown right now on eastbound 70 around Packers Avenue, but I don't have any report of problems there. Just a little heads up nearby, though. They are going to close the King Bridge completely today from 8:30 till 3:30, so just keep that in mind. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today will be partly sunny and very warm with a high of 84. Then we'll have some clouds and a low of 67 tonight. It stays breezy and warm. There could be a thunderstorm northwest of the city late. A couple of showers and heavy thunderstorms can bring flooding, downpours, hail, damaging winds, even a tornado tomorrow. High tomorrow 75. Clouds give way to sun, high 68 Sunday. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zayer on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Thanks, Heather. It's 64 in St. Peter, 63 in Florissant. It's cloudy and 62 downtown, and the weather is sponsored by Chuck's Boots, the Midwest's largest boot stores, boots for every walk of life, rugged work boots, stylish fashion, comfortable hiking boots, cowboy classics, uniform boots, and motorcycle gear. Chuck's Boots in Fenton and St. Peter's, chucksboots.com.
How about a 41-year-old St. Louis and playing a part in the ALCS? I'll tell you those details straight ahead in sports.
It is 6:12. A new study says an Illinois state goal for the number of adults earning degrees and certificates falls short. Meanwhile, K through 12 proficiency rates in reading and math are stagnant despite billions in new school funding.
The silver lining of that is that Illinois has kind of held steady in its proficiency rates, while other states have declined.
Advance Illinois' biannual report, The State We're In, tracks educational progress across the entire spectrum, from early childhood through career preparation. Illinois State House reporter Peter Hancock with Capital News Illinois took a deep dive into the numbers and found proficiency rates in reading and math have remained relatively flat over the last 20 years, despite billions of dollars in new K through 12 spending through the evidence-based funding formula.
The Advance Illinois people would tell you is that it's really, you have to understand how deep in the hole some of the poorer districts in Illinois were at the start of this. It's going to take time and money to dig out of that hole. because some districts were just incredibly underfunded.
The report says Illinois got close to meeting the goal made in 2009 by the Illinois P20 Council of having 60% of adults in the state with either a post-secondary degree or industry certificate by this year.
Post-secondary enrollment has been going down. Part of that is that population is shrinking, the 18 to 25-year-old population. Also, Illinois is losing students to other states.
Illinois students are showing solid academic growth between 3rd and 8th grades, ranking 2nd or 3rd in the nation. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
A small public school district in Limay, sometimes called the best kept secret in all of St. Louis County, is getting national attention. They use behavior scores along with grades. Hancock Place High School principal David Williams.
And that essentially measures their sense of work ethic and responsibility. And that is something that's on every report card. It's now on the high school transcript, cumulative. So when students from our school apply to colleges, trade schools, universities, wherever they're going after school, there's a statement in our school profile. This is not verbatim, but it reads something like habits of work and learning at Hancock Place High School represent the student's overall sense of work ethic and responsibility.
How are they measured?
The first one is, do students arrive to class on time and fully prepared? Do they consistently meet their deadlines? And are they on task and mindfully engaged in class? Those are 3 things that teachers can measure objectively for every student.
Hear our entire interview on this new behavior scoring on the KMOX podcast page.
Baseball postseason, the Dodgers are now 1 win away from returning to the World Series. They've taken a 3-0 lead in the NLCS thanks to a win last night in L.A. It was a 1-1 game in the 6th inning before former Cardinal Tommy Edman hit against Jacob Misiorowski.
That's a liner into center field. That's down for a base hit. Here comes Smith. Felix got a great arm. It's cut off. Throw to third, not in time. Tommy Edman puts the Dodgers in front. Edman on the first pitch delivers in the clutch again. And the Dodgers get to Misiorowski in the 6th inning.
Brian Anderson on TBS. The Dodgers would add another in the 6th inning to chase Misiorowski. He still struck out 9 in 5 innings of work. 3-1 the final last night. Tyler Glasnow started, worked 5 2/3 inning for the Dodgers. He gave up just a run on 3 hits, and he fanned 8 himself. Game 4 of that series is tonight. Shohei Ohtani works for the Dodgers, looking for the 2nd win of his postseason. The Brewers are TBD on tonight's starter. In the American League, the Blue Jays, who went down 2-0 in the series at home, have turned the tables on the Mariners. They took Game 3, now Game 4, as they win last night 8-2 to even the ALCS up at 2 games apiece. Last night, they did it in part thanks to the right arm of 41-year-old St. Louisan Max Scherzer.
John Schneider's out there to make a change. Max Scherzer, 5 2/3. What a night. Scherzer, take a bow. Game 4, the American League Championship Series, in position to win his first postseason game in 6 years.
Joe Davis on Fox. The Parkway Central and Mizzou grad goes 5 2/3 innings, strikes out 5, 2 runs on 3 hits, and gets that first postseason win since 2019. That last win, by the way, came in the World Series, helping the Nationals to that title. Vlad Guerrero Jr. continued to swing a hot bat in the postseason.
Jays getting 3 in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th. Guerrero drives the ball the other way. Canzone's going back. He's at the wall. It's gone! Vlad Jr. strikes again with his 5th home run of the postseason. Toronto takes the run right back.
He's now hitting .455 and has an OPS of 1.470 in the playoffs. Game 5 of the ALCS is tonight in Seattle. Kevin Gausman for the Jays against Bryce Miller for the Mariners. Next sports update comes up at 6:45. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's the Medicare Advantage annual enrollment period, and Humana knows not everyone has the same needs when picking a Medicare Advantage plan.
Now that I'm retired, I want to enjoy the life I've worked hard to build. So I want a plan that covers me when I'm traveling the country.
Humana has a plan for that.
As a veteran, I want a plan that fills in the gaps my VA coverage doesn't provide, like dental care.
Humana has a plan for that.
I feel good about my health. I just want care and coverage with predictable costs. No surprises.
Humana has a plan for that. With a Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you get coverage and benefits that focus on what matters most to you. Learn more at gethumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
The legendary Fast Eddie of Fast Eddie's Bon Air and Redbirds Hall of Famer Jason Isringhausen.
Hey, Izzy, what's going on, man? Looks kind of like you got something on your mind.
Well, Eddie boy, I'm thinking you may need to change the name of your place from Fast Eddie's to $5 Eddie's.
$5 Eddie? Man, why in the world would I call it $5 Eddie?
Well, I was in there the other day and bought myself the coldest beer I've ever had in my life, and I gave the guy $5. And then I went over and got some of those huge cold water peel and eat shrimps, and I gave her $5.
Well, I never really thought about that. There's a lot of $5 going on in there.
And then I went back up and got one of those huge Fast Eddie cheeseburgers, and I gave them $5 again.
Man, definitely has a ring to it. I think there's a lot of $5 going on.
Yeah, and I had about $100 worth of good time.
Well, that's good to hear, and it's easy to do with live music 7 days a week and a big old party going on that big, beautiful outdoor patio.
Well, like Mr. Shannon always says, if you're 21 and in the mood, head on over to Fast Eddie's Bon Air in Alton, Illinois, and maybe take a selfie on that old Harley Davidson of mine.
Who else has got a Cardinal Hall of Famer's Harley Davidson sitting out on the patio for some selfies?
Only Eddie boy.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 6:20. Let's check on the roads. Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the interstates look great so far this morning, Scott, on a Friday. No incidents on the highways. Just have the roadwork slow down on northbound 55 at 67. Still seeing a slowdown on westbound 64 from Lake St. Louis Boulevard out to Prospect. But other than that, interstates are traveling along pretty nicely, pretty quiet out there so far. We do have roadwork coming up today during the day, and they have a complete closure of the King Bridge, both directions. So the last couple of weeks, they were doing some stuff westbound, but a complete closure of the King Bridge today from 8:30 to 3:30. So just keep that in mind, but probably won't bother too many folks. So we still have this incident, I guess we'll call it. It's not necessarily a crash, but there's a tree that went down into a power pole and power lines and took them down onto a tanker truck, Highway 100 at Decker Road. So I know there are some restrictions at that location. Just be advised of that. That's in Franklin County out in the Labadie area. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
The weather is going to still be summery today, partly sunny and a high of 84. Tomorrow, we're looking at a cloudy, breezy day with a couple of showers and maybe some heavy thunderstorms. Could possibly even bring a tornado, hail, damaging wind gusts, a high of 75. And that'll cool things down for Sunday when the sun does return, but it'll be really windy on Sunday with a high of 68 degrees. It's 62 right now.
The news continues at 6:22. The Senate has once again failed to pass a government funding bill. Correspondent Sagar Magani says that means the government shutdown will continue into next week.
Senate Democrats have again rejected a funding bill that would reopen the government as they demand Congress take up health care benefits.
The motion is not agreed to.
It's the same stopgap measure the GOP-led Senate has now voted on 10 times.
Has now been defeated a total of 10 times.
With Hakeem Jeffries and other Democrats insisting the chamber take up health care subsidy extensions. Top Senate Republican John Thune says he's willing to talk about it later.
Only once we've reopened the government.
Chuck Schumer's Democrats say the GOP cannot just keep saying no to talks.
That's got to change soon.
There's no indication it will.
Many of you have asked all of us, how will it end? We have no idea.
House Speaker Mike Johnson is visibly frustrated.
I don't like being mad, Mike. I want to be happy, Mike. I want to be the happy warrior, but I am so upset about this. God bless America.
Sagar Magani at the White House.
President Trump expected to meet with Russian President Putin in the coming weeks. Correspondent Clayton Neville says the two leaders plan to discuss a potential resolution in the ongoing war in Ukraine.
President Trump welcomes Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to the United States a day after he told reporters that he had a productive phone call with Russian President Vladimir Putin. He says the talks between the United States and the two countries at war are happening separately.
This is a terrible relationship the two of them have, and it's one of those things.
The president touched on successes that he's had with ending other conflicts, to include the recent peace agreement in the Middle East.
I think we're going to have this one done hopefully soon. But I'll be meeting him probably over the next 2 weeks. First, Marco is going to be meeting. And the vice president, as you know, is very much involved. The whole team is involved. Steve Witkoff will be involved.
The meeting will happen in Budapest in coming weeks after the Secretary of State and other members of the Trump administration hold their own discussions. As President Zelensky asks for continued help from the U.S., Trump suggesting that he plans to hold off on a pending decision about sending Tomahawk missiles to Kyiv. I'm Clayton Neville.
Meanwhile, President Trump issued a stark warning to Hamas if the group does not stop killing people in Gaza. The president posted to Truth Social saying, quote, "We will have no choice but to go in and kill them if the violence continues." Yolanda Nell has more.
Hamas is under intense pressure to recover the remaining bodies of hostages, with Israel threatening to resume fighting in Gaza if it fails to return them. In footage broadcast on Al Jazeera, Hamas gunmen appear to guard bulldozers digging in the dark in the southern city of Khan Yunis. The armed group has said that recovering the remains may require some time because they lie in destroyed tunnels and under the rubble of buildings bombed by Israel. After President Trump previously downplayed the internal violence in Gaza, he's now warned Hamas that there will be no choice but to go in and kill them if the bloodshed continues.
Former National Security Advisor John Bolton was indicted yesterday by a federal grand jury in Maryland on 18 counts related to his handling of classified information. The charges stem from notes Bolton allegedly wrote in a personal email account while serving under President Trump. FBI agents raided his home and office in August, reportedly recovering hundreds of pages of classified information, including documents related to weapons of mass destruction.
Hundreds of people displaced by flooding in western Alaska coastal villages are now being housed at a sports center at the University of Alaska Anchorage campus. Julia Stone is a police officer in Kipnuk.
I started getting calls that one of the houses, they need help. Their houses were floating and they were drifting away.
More than 120 homes were destroyed by the remnants of the typhoon. It caused water levels to rise more than 6 feet above the highest normal tide line in the Bering Sea village.
Founding member of KISS, Ace Frehley, has died at the age of 74.
He worked part-time as a cab driver in New York City, then quit that gig for his other job at $50 a week as the guitarist for a then little-known band, KISS. Ace Frehley's bombastic riffs and legendary solos became part of the DNA of KISS's iconic stage shows and theatrics in the 70s and into the 80s. He had a troubled history of substance abuse, something he battled for decades, saying, "My life has been a roller coaster ride, but somehow I've always been able to land on my feet and still play the guitar." Matt Wolf, CBS News.
She's been called one of the founding mothers of NPR. Longtime All Things Considered host and journalist Susan Stamberg has died at the age of 87.
Susan Stamberg was one of NPR's first employees. When she began her on-air career, she told an NPR interviewer exactly what she was told to do.
Be yourself. We want to hear voices on our air that we would hear across our dinner tables.
Lisa Napoli is the author of Susan, Linda, Nina, and Cokie about the network's founding mothers.
She had a passion and a drive in a wonderful way that made you feel like you were speaking to someone at a party, not to somebody in any official capacity.
Peter King, CBS News.
It is 6:27. The time check sponsored by Jerry Kelley Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
This is an announcement to all United States vehicle owners who own a 2003 or newer vehicle with a manufacturer's warranty about to expire or no warranty coverage at all. With a struggling economy and the cost of living on the rise, Endurance is now offering an affordable, low-cost vehicle coverage plan to the general public. As of today, you could be one of millions of drivers that now may qualify to have your vehicle protected under this coverage and have all future covered auto repairs paid directly to the repair shop for you. You pick your plan. You pick your deductible. You even pick the repair shop. Roadside service, towing, and rental coverage is included. Get your vehicle protected now and save your wallet from costly vehicle repairs. A toll-free number has been established for you to call for your free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number to call is 800-298-4932. 800-298-4932. Again, that's 800-298-4932.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20 50-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by big wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
If you're still waiting for a sign, here's another one. At California Psychics, we reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work for us. So we only connect you with the best. That's how we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. If that's not a sign, I don't know what is. Dramatic sound effect incoming. Experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Hey guys, Glover here. It's October, and this is when the weather really starts to shift. The mornings are crisp, the evenings are cool. Before long, those chilly fall breezes will turn into full-blown winter winds. Right now, buy 2 windows to get 2 free with no limit, plus enjoy 0% interest for 3 full years. And to top it off, get an extra $500 off your entire home improvement project. That's Universal Windows Direct. Give them a call at 314-334-2522 or visit universalwindowsdirect.com. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
Hey, Dave, this is Susan L. Ward, and my law firm and I want to wish you congratulations on your 25 years with the show. I am really, really glad that you left family law practice to me, and here's to 25 more for you on radio.
At 6:30, we have mostly cloudy skies and 62 degrees downtown at the Gateway Arch. Good morning. I'm Scott Jagow.
I'm Debbie Monterrey, and this is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, heading out the door and onto the highways on a Friday morning is usually never a big deal, and it looks great this morning. I mean, we're in better shape right now, northbound 55 through 67 and Highway A around Butler Hill, north of Bayless. Everything's still cruising along for you in those locations. We still have that roadwork slowdown. In fact, there's slowdowns both ways now on 64 between Prospect and Lake St. Louis Boulevard, so just pay attention in the area there. Obviously, westbound's roadwork, eastbound's more of a volume situation. That's the only delays on the highways I'm seeing right now. Downtown, we still have great westbound across the Poplar, Muso Veterans Bridges. We still have that incident restrictions on 100 at Decker Road in Franklin County around Labadie from an earlier tree that fell onto a power pole and took power lines down onto a tanker truck there. So they're still working with that situation. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Kind of an interesting weather forecast coming up. We have 84 sunny this afternoon. Overnight, though, we could have a thunderstorm northwest of the city toward dawn, 67. And then tomorrow, 75 degrees, possibly some heavy downpours, even a tornado is possible. A couple of showers and thunderstorms around the area throughout the day. And then Sunday will be much cooler, 68 degrees. Will be in the mid-70s on Monday and 65 for the high on Tuesday. Right now, it's 62 degrees downtown.
There cannot be a vote on the redistricting map, according to the U.S. Constitution, says Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway. She's explaining her decision to file a federal lawsuit to block citizen efforts to put the unusual midterm map on the statewide ballot.
The elections provision of the U.S. Constitution, which delegates the authority only to the General Assembly to draw these districts. Now, in some states, the General Assembly has turned around and delegated it to a citizens commission or someone else. But in the Missouri Constitution vests that authority solely in the people's elected representatives. And there just isn't a path to putting it on the ballot.
There can't be a vote on the redistricting map, as we just heard. West Nile virus is on the rise in Missouri, and health officials say that trend is concerning. Epidemiologist Dr. George Turbalizzi says it may sound routine, but the most effective defense is simple: prevention.
In your backyard, make sure you try to avoid time of the day when mosquitoes are especially active, like dawn time. Make sure when you're outside, you are wearing long clothes and protect yourself. And also use, obviously, repellents.
So far this year, the state has confirmed 21 cases. 3 of them resulted in death. Missouri typically sees about 17 cases a year.
Another safe haven baby box is going to be installed in the area. These allow for a baby to be anonymously left in a climate-controlled box. An alarm goes off to alert first responders. This one will be installed at the Florissant Firehouse number 1 And it's the first one in North St. Louis County funded entirely by donations.
The success of City Foundry is a good argument to think twice about putting a massive data center across the street at the Armory. That's according to Steve Smith, the CEO of New Plus Found, the people behind the Foundry, and 2 large apartment buildings across from IKEA and next to the SLU campus. Smith says city leaders should prioritize projects that make St. Louis a destination. He tells St. Louis Magazine the Foundry has become one of the city's most visited attractions, and the district should be a destination and a hub of innovation and community building.
The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. If you're hungry, make your plans for next week. We've got that story along with your money report coming up here on Total Information AM at 6:34.
DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is coming soon to the Show Me State. New Missouri customers can download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today. And when we go live, place just a $5 bet to unlock $300 in bonus bets. Starting November 17th, you can create your DraftKings Sportsbook account in Missouri and get ready for launch day on December 1st. DraftKings Sportsbook brings you everything you need to elevate your game day, including live in-game betting, lightning-fast payouts, and endless ways to get in on the action, all right from your phone. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and grab $300 in bonus bets with just a $5 bet when we go live December 1st. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
It is 6:35, and your Bloomberg Money Minute is sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano, elder law attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Stock futures are pointing to a significant drop ahead of trading today, fueled by doubts over the credit health of regional U.S. banks. 2 banks disclosed bad loans, and it's spooking investors. They're worried more banks could reveal the same issue. Comerica and Fifth Third are expected to report earnings later today. Day 17 of the government shutdown, and the Department of Agriculture is now warning if it continues, funding for food stamps will run out next month. A letter to state agencies viewed by Bloomberg shows people receiving aid through the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program known as SNAP will get benefits through October, but there may not be enough money to pay full November benefits for the 42 million people who receive them. And Apple and NBC's Peacock are now teaming up for a new streaming bundle for $15 a month. The new package will offer live pro sports, movies, and popular shows like Ted Lasso and The Morning Show. It'll be available starting Monday. Monica Ricks, Bloomberg Radio.
Looks like we are definitely out of the massive heat waves that we received this year. But any week when it's 90 degrees during the day and 90 degrees at night is, in St. Louis, the humidity is not comfortable, and our bills do go up. With that being said, we're coming up in the winter months, and this is the time that you want to get your furnace looked at and checked. It's inexpensive to have it looked at for your peace of mind. And this is also the time of the year where you'll hear during your furnace checkups that you have a bad heat exchanger or you need a new furnace. Call me if you hear that for a second opinion. You'll be happy you did. And it's one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. It's 314-293-2600. Or on the internet, Bart Inman. Now that is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. And God bless.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Are you tired of online threats? Then get an antivirus. It's the only online protection you will ever need.
Disclaimer: an antivirus is just half protection online. It will not protect you from snoopers or encrypt your traffic. So get better online protection with NordVPN. NordVPN will encrypt your traffic, protect you from malware and phishing, and stop annoying ads. Save 77% on NordVPN and get 3 extra months.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, haven't practiced in a long time, but I did plaintiff's work and defense work, so I have a pretty good understanding of it. I have a pretty good idea of who's who in the firmament of plaintiffs' attorneys. And for my money, Mark Cantor is the guy. He's a great attorney. He is a great practitioner. He's put together a great team. He was born and raised here. He lives here. He works here. He wins here. Call 314-628-ALL-9s or CantorInjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based on advertising.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair, then you need Hair Volume from New Nordic. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy, Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
The countdown to kickoff starts here. Friday's focus on Mizzou, the Chiefs, and the NFL, only on KMOX.
It is 6:39. How much are you willing to continue to spend for items as the price tag gets steeper?
The latest picture of the region's economy shows prices continue to rise. The Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis reports consumers in lower and middle income brackets are pushing back, holding off on purchases until they can get a deal. But for higher income brackets,
sales are still pretty robust, and what we're hearing from retailers in that space is there's not a lot of pushback. Same in tourism and hospitality, so those bookings are still looking pretty good.
St. Louis Fed senior economist Charles Gascon tells KMOX businesses report input costs are rising at a faster rate than they're passing along to customers. In some cases, companies are choosing cheaper substitutes to keep prices the same for consumers. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
It is 6:40 and time for us to get you a check of traffic and weather on this Friday morning. You never know when a problem is going to crop up. That's why Roger Brand joins us every 10 minutes. And here he is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
There's not too many difficulties out there so far on a Friday morning, Debbie. The only odd duck we have is that incident on Highway 100 at Decker Road. Some lane restrictions, the wires down on top of a tanker truck, and so there are restrictions on the roadway there, and a tree down as well that they're going to have to deal with. Northbound 55, just a little slow into 67 right now. It's also a little slow between Bayless and Weber. Northbound 270, some volume starting to build a little bit up the hill from Doherty Ferry to Manchester, and right through 64 and Ladue on North 270. Westbound 64, that road work's been picked up out in the Lake St. Louis area, but eastbound 64, Prospect in the Lake St. Louis Boulevard right now is kind of slow. Seeing a little bit of a slowdown. Westbound 70 at the Wright City Rest area. There's a stalled auto. I don't see the issue right now, but it was reportedly in the right lane, eastbound 70, just east of 170. Illinois drivers still have it good. Westbound 55, 70, and 64, no delays across the Poplar or Mutual Veterans bridges so far for you this morning. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is 6:41. Time to check on our AccuWeather forecast with meteorologist Heather Zare. Looks like we could have some storms this weekend. Heather, give us some details.
Yeah, unfortunately, we do have a front that's going to be coming into the area and triggering some of those storms. Lots of energy to work with as we have been so warm out ahead of this front. We've been having highs in the 80s for several days. That's going to continue today. Partly sunny as we head up to 84 degrees. Some clouds then for tonight. It's going to stay breezy and warm. We'll have a low of 67, and there can be a thunderstorm northwest of the city toward dawn. Showers and thunderstorms are going to overspread the rest of the area tomorrow then. And we're looking at a possibility for flooding downpours as well as hail and damaging winds with these storms tomorrow. Even a chance for a tornado in some of the stronger storms. 75 is going to be the high. So we are beginning to cool down, but it's even cooler as we clear out and have a gusty wind with some sun on Sunday. The high about 68. Warming up again early next week, though, temporarily. Mostly sunny and breezy with a high of 77 on Monday. Then back down to 65 with a breeze on Tuesday. 63 in St. Peters, 64 in Florissant and downtown at the Arch right now. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zare on 104.1 FM KMOX.
I'm Joe Pott. The Tigers are on the road this week to face another set of Tigers. We'll tell you about that coming up in sports.
It's now 6:43. Fox 2's Timmy Zell says his health issues have changed and progressed since he announced he had Parkinson's. In a conversation with coworker Margie Ellisor, he shared that his Parkinson's disease diagnosis has changed to multiple system atrophy or MSA.
Blood pressure, sometimes it'll drop or it'll spike high.
at a moment's notice. And I just had too many close calls at work where it could have happened on the air that I said, you know what, I need to step away.
So he is stepping away indefinitely. Ezell shared that he has treatment scheduled at the Mayo Clinic and thanked his viewers for their thoughts and prayers.
Former Channel 5 morning anchor Rennie Knott goes on Facebook to say thanks for support he received since he left KSDK. Knott did not go into why he parted ways with the station, but hinted at a future career here.
I hope that I get the opportunity to tell stories once again. I'm looking forward to what hopefully will be the next chapter of a life here in St. Louis that will be long.
He came to St. Louis from a bigger market, Washington, D.C. in 2004 to succeed Mike Bush as sports director at Channel 5. In 2020, he became co-anchor of the Morning Today in St. Louis.
25 years ago, Missouri lost its sitting governor in a tragic plane crash. On October 16th, 2000, Governor Mel Carnahan, his son, and an aide died when their campaign plane went down in Hillsborough. Mourners began showing up at the state capitol the next morning. KMOX's Nan Wyatt was there.
There are memorial flowers growing here at the gates outside the Italianate mansion. Just a few moments ago, a man in shirt sleeves on his way into work stopped by in his pickup truck and dropped off a bouquet of flowers and said simply, "For my governor."
The crash set the stage for one of the most unusual elections in American history. A month after his death, Carnahan was elected to the U.S. Senate, and his wife, Jean Carnahan, was appointed to serve in his place.
The family of Diane Keaton says her death at the age of 79 was linked to pneumonia. Our health editor, Fred Bottomer, tells us what we need to know about that respiratory virus.
Well, look, pneumonia hospitalizes 1 million people a year, and over half the time it's involved with pre-existing conditions.
Fox News senior medical analyst, Dr. Mark Siegel.
Pneumonia, a lot of times it's bacterial strep. We have a great vaccine for that now called Prevnar that covers against 20 types of strep. Everyone over 65, everyone over 50 now, even the CDC is recommending it. COVID causes pneumonia, flu can cause pneumonia, RSV, big cause of pneumonia in the elderly. All of these things we can vaccinate against.
Symptoms include high fever, productive cough, and chest pain, especially pain when trying to take a deep breath. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
1 week after the first loss of the season, the 16th ranked Missouri Tigers play their first road game of the season tomorrow when they travel to Auburn to face those Tigers at Jordan-Hare Stadium. In his weekly press conference, Mizzou head coach Eli Drinkowitz talked about the Mizzou Tigers being able to finish off a game.
You know, to recap last week, really proud of the physicality that our team played with and the effort. I thought our guys fought really hard and had the ball with a chance to win at the end of the game. But we got to find that winning play. And that's really on me as the head football coach to find that winning play for us in this program. And we got to keep working on it.
One of the issues last week in the loss to Alabama was the Tigers' inability to run the ball effectively the same way they had earlier in this season. Drinkwitz addressed that as well.
I think when you watch the overall totality of the game, it comes down to our inability to stay on the field. You know, we had 10 third downs in that game. We were 1 for 10. It's hard to establish any type of rhythm or consistency on offense. We had 3 and outs in a 4-play drive. And the third downs were not extremely long. It wasn't like we were behind the chains. We just didn't convert the way we needed to, which also swayed the time of possession and allowed them to have the ball too much.
That's Eli Drinkowitz. That's courtesy of MUTigers.com. Mizzou 5-1, Auburn 3-3. Kickoff is 6:45 tomorrow night on SEC Network. St. Louis City plays its final game tomorrow night of the 2025 season. Real Salt Lake is in town at Energizer Park. City is looking to end the year with 3 wins in its final 4 games under interim head coach David Critchley. RSL is 12-17-4. They're in the final postseason spot right now in the Western Conference, currently with 40 points. Here's one for you from the archives.
But the Spirits are going to call a timeout before Memphis puts the ball back in play. 2:52 to go in the first quarter. Spirits 18, Memphis 14. This is Spirits basketball.
Of course, that's KMOX alum Bob Costas calling a St. Louis Spirits game, or Spirits of St. Louis game, from a YouTube clip. Tomorrow is the 51st anniversary of the first Spirits of St. Louis home game. It was October 18th, 1974. The Spirits lost to the Memphis Sounds 97-94 at the arena. Thanks to our producer, Frank Ladd, for digging that one up for us. Next sports update comes up at 7:15. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Many of you know that my inspiration for becoming an accident attorney was my brother Tim, who was rendered a quadriplegic at age 18. I didn't know what a personal injury lawyer was or what they did, but I soon did. Tim was treated terribly by the insurance company, and I became enraged. It was a constant delay and deny. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Tim later worked with me for 27 years. Last year, my hero died at age 65. You can see my eulogy for him by visiting mybrothertim.com. He was one hell of a man. Because of Tim, together we built the largest injury firm in the world, and our clients are treated the way I would want my family to be treated. At Morgan & Morgan, nobody is a nobody and everybody is a somebody. If you need our help, visit forthepeople.com on your phone or computer. See you soon, Tim. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
NeoVitan began with one doctor's mission to help others feel their best. After years of caring for patients, Dr. Ken Ribicki, a St. Louis physician, created NeoVitan, a line of multivitamins designed with quality, safety, and everyday wellness in mind. Each formula is made in the U.S. using the finest domestic and international ingredients to support real people living real lives. Discover the difference today with NeoVitan, available at Schnucks, Dierbergs, and neovitan.com. NeoVitan, trusted nutrition from St. Louis for St. Louis.
Red Kingdom is back at FanDuel Sports Network Live in Ballpark Village. See every game on the largest screen in town. Don't forget about the $25 buckets, $5 cocktails, and the best tailgate food around. Grab your friends along with KMOX and huddle up for the games at the best watch party in town. If you can't make it, but don't want to miss a down, listen to the Chiefs on KMOX or KMOX on the Odyssey app. For more info, KMOX.com/events.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 6:50, traffic and weather together. Let's start with the roads. Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the roads aren't bad, Scott. They look pretty good. There's just a little slowdown right now, north 55 coming into 67, but 10 minutes ago we had a little slowdown between Bayless and Weber. Right now it's thinned out. North 270 is also thinned out, although just about 2 minutes ago they called out EMS for a vehicle crash on North 270. Sounded like it was between Manchester and the Clayton Road overpass, although they said it was a vehicle off the roadway, so it shouldn't be blocking anything. The only delays I'm seeing is just a little slowdown from the Clayton Road overpass up to Ladue in that construction zone, so that's pretty much par for the course this time of day. We'll see if it gets any worse in the area if they locate that crash. Eastbound 64 between Prospect and Lake St. Louis Boulevard, you're a little heavy, but after that, wide open to downtown. Eastbound 70 looks great from the 64 split all the way into the city, and downtown we're still good to go. Westbound 55, 70, and 64, no delays across the Poplar or Muswell Veterans Bridges so far. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It looks like we are going to be in for a cool down once the storms move through tomorrow. So the weather is partly sunny today with a high of 84. And then tomorrow, cloudy and breezy with a couple of showers and some heavy thunderstorms, a high of 75. And then it's going to clear out for Sunday, but it's going to be really windy with a high of 68. Currently 62 degrees with mostly cloudy skies in downtown St. Louis.
The news continues at 6:52. Golf carts get legit, but with strings attached.
Beyond not being legitimate right now, we have no rules of the road. There is nothing to direct or guide folks on the minimum demands of operating on city streets.
That is Alderman Matt Devote, sponsor of a bill that passed out of committee. It allows golf carts, if they keep to streets where the speed limit is under 25 miles an hour and add seat belts and headlamps. These golf cart owners are quite passionate about it.
My wife and I are St. Louis transplants, and we've fallen in love with the city. If you ask anyone who knows me, they'll tell you a lot to talk about two things: my golf cart and our soccer team.
But Alderman Tom Oldenburg says many residents have seen the golf carts get taken too far.
The last thing I think any parent or any member of the community wants to see is a 12 or 13-year-old driving a golf cart with a bunch of friends hanging off it. That's sort of a recipe for disaster.
The rules of the road now go to the full Board of Aldermen.
Meanwhile, the Consumer Product Safety Commission warns people to immediately stop using tens of thousands of golf carts and similar vehicles. We get more from correspondent Jesse Mitchell.
Nearly 100,000 Textron E-Z-Go PTVs were recalled because the fuel could leak, posing a fire hazard. Another 23,000 Yamaha golf carts from model years 2017 to 2025 have also been recalled. Regulators say the Drive 2 model lacks stoplights, which can pose a crash risk, and the Yamaha DR2A and DR2E models may fail to brake, which could cause crashes and serious injury.
More than 25 places are participating in this year's Downtown Restaurant Week.
You have restaurants participating that are in Ballpark Village and Laclede Landing all the way to Jefferson Avenue.
Sarah Arnosky-Coe with Greater St. Louis Inc. says there's Nigerian food on Wash Avenue, 3-course meals on Olive. Many restaurants are offering 20% off. But for the complete list, go to dinedowntownsTL.com. That's dinedowntownsTL.com. It runs October 20th through the 26th.
On Washington Avenue, Bella's is closed, but the frozen yogurt shop will reopen later this year as an all-day cafe with a full bar. Owner Corey James is doing the rebrand in partnership with Oliver Properties, which has taken over a number of buildings on Washington Avenue and plans to open a food hall soon. James, who's run Bella's for 7 years, says it's time to reinvest and reimagine what a true downtown coffee house can be, giving downtown residents and visitors a place to connect morning and night.
An environment of lawlessness in some parts of Columbia, especially downtown. That's what University System President Mun Choi is saying about an uptick in violent crime around the Mizzou campus.
There is data that suggests that violent crime has increased year over year. Let's acknowledge it. Let's find resources to help our police department address those issues. And we are doing the same thing by providing our police resources to patrol downtown during peak hours and collaborating with the Columbia Police Department.
He says there's been a 40% increase in calls regarding the homeless population and 277 arrests of homeless people.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement.
It's your birthday.
Today's KMOX birthday shout out is sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned, top rated. RennerDoorSTL.com. Some musical birthdays today on this October 17th. Eminem is 53, Alan Jackson 67, and Ziggy Marley is 57.
Local celebrity birthdays include Chris Cuban, Suzanne Sierra, Suzanne Evans, Ann Slaughter from your class of 78 IWA friends, Megan Reininger, Casey Nolan, Tony Viviano, Kathy Lemansky of Swansea, Natalie Patrick from the Spring family, Justin Trabert, and we have a lot of birthdays around
right
here.
Here in the building.
Yeah. Our big boss is having a birthday tomorrow. That would be Becky Damian. And today it is the birthday of Frank Ladd and Joe Pott. Happy birthday.
This is the best birthday ever.
Hey, let's talk for a second about your eyes. It's a little dark in here, which is why I was struggling to read some of those birthdays. But I do go to Ophthalmology Associates. They are the doctors, the best doctors to see for your best vision. And what can they do for you? Well, so much. First of all, if you haven't been to an eye doctor in a long time, you need to go. And it's about more than just reading the eye chart to see if you need an upgraded prescription, which they will check that as well. But they will do so much more because the health of your eyes is extremely important, and it's really important to catch things early because you don't know what you got until it's gone, like your vision. They are the doctors of Ophthalmology Associates, experts in diagnosis and treatment of diseases of the eye. They are doctors Greg Birdie, Ranja Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer. Call to get on their calendar. They are a busy place, I'll tell you. 314-966-5000, 314-966-5000, or you can find them online at youridoc.com, the doctors of Ophthalmology Associates.
Hey, Dave, it's Tamara, the flavor temptress, and your good friend from Clementine's Ice Cream. I just wanted to say congratulations on 25 years. Not only are you the sexiest man in daytime radio, but you're probably the only man with the best looking feet. Here's to the next 25. Cheers to you, my friend.
Working full-time but still falling behind? Learn how real estate education can help you build income and get ahead on your terms. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
Lombardo Homes welcomes you to the Village at Twin Creeks in Cottleville. Grand opening Saturday, October 18th. This exclusive community features just 9 estate-sized home sites with floor plans ranging from 2,600 to 4,000 square feet. The Village at Twin Creeks offers the perfect blend of luxury and lifestyle and is walking distance to quaint shops and restaurants on Main Street. Located west of Highway N and north of St. Charles Street, this is your chance to build the home you've always imagined in one of St. Charles County's most desirable locations. For more, visit lombardohomes.com.
Just a minute before 7 o'clock, Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Scott, we've had a couple of call-outs for crashes on North 270. The one was between Manchester and Clayton Road, and that's where that vehicle was off the roadway. And I see a backup, Manchester up to it. I think they have a lane block there while they deal with it. And then they just called out EMS again. This time they said northbound 270 at 64. No, I don't see anything there. But, again, we'll keep tabs on things. But luckily, lighter Friday volume means it's not too much of an issue so far. Northbound 55, you've got a little bit of a slowdown at 67, but it looks good up past River to Pear right now. And eastbound 64, there's barely a slowdown running through Lake St. Louis Boulevard, so not much of a concern there at this time. Downtown was still clear westbound across the Poplar and Musial Veterans Bridges. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is the CBS News World News Roundup, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. President Trump is moving on from the war in Gaza to the war in Ukraine. He hosts President Zelensky at the White House a day after a lengthy phone conversation with Vladimir Putin. Correspondent Nancy Cordes.
After speaking with Russian President Vladimir Putin for 2.5 hours yesterday, he has agreed to another meeting with him.
Within 2 weeks or so, pretty quick.
It'll be the second one-on-one this year for President Trump and Vladimir Putin. This time, they'll meet in the Hungarian capital of Budapest, hosted by strongman Viktor Orban.
The president is now suggesting he may not sell Ukraine U.S.-made Tomahawk missiles that can reach deep inside Russia. John Bolton, who served as President Trump's national security advisor during his first term, then got fired and wrote a tell-all, has been indicted on charges of mishandling classified documents. Former federal prosecutor Tom Dupree.
This indictment is definitely much more substantial than the indictments we saw against Jim Comey and Tish James. It paints a picture, allegedly, of a defendant who is careless with classified information, with information concerning the national defense.
There's severe weather headed to the nation's midsection. CBS News meteorologist Rob Marciano.
This is the same system that hit California just a couple of days ago. The tail end of this is going to cause some severe weather today, Oklahoma City to Tulsa. But the big show, I think, comes tomorrow. Little Rock, look out. Memphis for you as well. Nashville, severe winds, large hail, and the possibility for tornadoes as well. Along with that, some heavy rain with this.
High hopes for ski season in California's Sierra Nevada mountains. They got up to 2 feet of snow. Instagram's just unveiled new safety features for teenagers. Correspondent Michael Wallace has the details.
The changes, which will be rolled out early next year, will address growing concerns about the impact of AI chatbots, which have been blamed for some recent child suicides. Instagram will offer more parental controls over how teens use its chatbots and its AI characters. The app will also limit chatbot conversations on topics like self-harm, eating disorders, and sex. Last year, Instagram announced teen accounts would be private by default to protect them from predators.
Moments of agony for a mom who called 911 in Brevard County, Florida, after someone stole her car at a gas station with her 1-year-old inside.
My car! 911, where's your emergency? No! That's my car! I don't care! It's about to kill you! My kid's in there! I don't care! Ma'am, what's the address where you need help?
Before she could answer,
he brought my car back.
The thief had returned after realizing there was a baby in the car seat. The mom says William Mullis apologized to her, before he was arrested. Dow futures down 48. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Let me tell you about this new pretzel cheddar club. Hey, I'm Carlos.
And I'm Ebony. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club
is the tangy Dijon with the pretzel bun. It takes it to a whole nother level.
It goes perfectly with the chicken and the cheddar cheese and the bacon.
Man, you know how much you love bacon. And I love the different varieties. Grilled, spicy, original. It gets you nice and excited for fall.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with Cherry Berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
At 7:04, we have mostly cloudy skies and 62 degrees downtown at the Gateway Arch. Today is Friday, October 17th. Good morning. I'm Scott Jagow. And our top story this hour, scores of No Kings demonstrations are planned this weekend to protest Trump administration policies. KMOX asked our legal analyst, Brad Young, about what activities could get protesters in hot water.
You cannot block any traffic or emergency routes. You can't commit mob action like busting into cars or setting trash cans on fire. You also can't trespass on on private property, or resist the specific instructions by the police related to public safety.
Young says demonstrators are typically allowed to gather on public property as long as they don't block other people's access, and counter protests are also allowed.
Administrative judges suggest Ameren is asking Illinois natural gas customers for too large a rate hike. Now, consumer groups are seizing on that to push regulators to cut utilities' requests further.
Earlier this year, Ameren requested a rate hike that could increase customers' monthly natural gas bills by roughly 15% or $10 a month. Those administrative judges have proposed cutting the nearly $129 million request by a third. Abe Scar, director of the Illinois Public Interest Research Group, contends there's a lot of unnecessary spending. While Ameren says it has to upgrade infrastructure to meet federal requirements, Scar argues the utility has another decade to comply and that there are cheaper ways to do it.
But what we've seen from Ameren and other utilities in Illinois is that they are tending to default to full replacement, which is the most expensive method.
In a statement sent to KMOX News, Ameren's Senior Director of Gas Operations, Brad Kleppel, defends the request, saying the investments are necessary to meet federal pipeline safety requirements, reduce leaks, and provide reliable service. He adds the utility evaluates methods to reach that compliance at the lowest possible cost. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
Attorney General Catherine Hanaway and Alderwoman Megan Green agree about jailed Sheriff Alfred Montgomery that he needs to go.
Yeah, it is a weird territory to be in, but it is nice to be able to work together when there really is such an extreme situation.
Hanaway explicitly says the state judge in the Quo Warranto case should remove Montgomery because he can't perform his duties from behind bars. She says a federal judge has already found Montgomery had burner phones and retaliated against witnesses, and that should be enough.
It's unbelievable that he has yet to be removed from office. We get our next chance on October 29th to persuade the judge to remove him, but right now it's complete lawlessness with respect to that office.
This isn't the first time the sheriff of St. Louis City has been behind bars, refusing to resign.
In the late 70s, Sheriff Benjamin Goins was federally convicted on corruption charges, but refused to resign. Former St. Louis City Mayor Vincent Shamel was only an alderman while all this was going on.
The Democrats, pretty much controlled everything across the state at that point in time. But there was a real recognition that, you got an elected sheriff in your city going to jail is not a good look.
He contrasts Goins' legal trouble with current Sheriff Alfred Montgomery, saying Goins' crimes were deliberate and over a number of years.
Different, I don't think he has a criminal mindset. I don't think he has a mindset that's focused on what he's supposed to be doing.
Like many other leaders currently in office, Shamel suggests Montgomery resign. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The Business Desk is sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. Gas prices are continuing to drop across St. Louis this week. According to AAA, the current average for a gallon of regular unleaded is $2.77. That's a bit higher than the statewide average of $2.71, but prices are falling locally and across the state. AAA says the good news is thanks to lower demand and the seasonal switch to cheaper winter blend gas.
It's 7:08. We'll check traffic and weather next.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes. McKelvey is on the move with 3 new communities and prime locations opening soon. The early bird gets the worm, so get your pick of the home sites and the best prices first. Join our VIP list at McKelveyhomes.com. Strawberry Farms is located on Mexico Road east of Highway K from the 480s. Post Farms on Highway N near Duello Road from the 540s, or the Reserve in Wildwood at Highways 109 and 100 from $560,000 to $1 million plus. It's a great time to move up to McKelvey.
Let me tell you about this new pretzel cheddar club. Hey, I'm Carlos.
And I'm Ebony. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club
is the tangy Dijon with the pretzel bun. It takes it to a whole nother level.
It goes perfectly with the chicken and the cheddar cheese and the bacon.
Man, you know how much you love bacon. And I love the different varieties. Grilled, spicy, original. It gets you nice and excited for fall.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with Cherry Berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Are you an HR manager, business owner, or leader looking to retain your best people? Nearly 1 in 4 employees is caring for an aging loved one, a challenge that often leads to distraction, absenteeism, and costly turnover. The CARES program from Age Smart Community Resources connects your employees to expert caregiver support, helping them stay focused and productive at work. Discover how CARES can boost retention, improve ROI, and cut costs for your business. Visit hsmart.org or call 618-222-2561. Proudly serving 7 counties in Southwest Illinois.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is 7:10, time to check traffic and weather, starting with Roger Brand. He's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Debbie, they opened up that right lane. You know, the earlier crash I talked about, North 270, about midway between Manchester and Clayton Road. They had the right lane blocked while EMS was on the scene. They're gone now. There's still flashing lights. The police are still out there, and the vehicle that was involved in the crash is still out there on the shoulder. So North 270, north of Doherty Ferry, midway up between Manchester and Clayton Road is kind of backed up right now. But once you get past that point, you're good to go. And there's no delays further to the south on North 270. That's the only backup you have there. South 270 is wide open. In fact, the rest of these highways are just generally wide open. Eastbound 70 and 64 coming in from Wentzville all the way downtown look good. North 55, you do have that little bit of a slowdown at 67, but it looks good north of Rivas, and downtown bridges are still clear westbound for Illinois drivers. Next update is 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, very warm today, partly sunny with a high of 84. Breezy and warm with some clouds and a low of 67 tonight. There could be a thunderstorm northwest of the city late at night. We'll have a couple of showers and heavy thunderstorms tomorrow. Watch for flooding downpours, hail, damaging winds, even a tornado, high 75. Some sun returns, high 68 Sunday. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zayer on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Thanks, Heather. Right now it's 63 in St. Peters. We have 64 in Florissant and partly cloudy and 61 downtown at the Arch.
Tommy Edman playing a big role for the Dodgers again. I've got that highlight coming up in sports.
It is 7:12, and Illinois education getting a mixed report card for the number of people getting degrees and proficiency rates in math and reading.
Advance Illinois is a nonpartisan or bipartisan kind of policy research organization.
15 years ago, the state of Illinois set a goal of 60% of adults holding a degree or certificate. Illinois State House reporter Peter Hancock with Capital News Illinois has been mulling over the data from Advance Illinois.
Illinois missed meeting that goal, but not by a whole lot, got very close to it. Among the things that they found was that there are a lot of barriers to higher education still. Illinois is near the bottom of the states in terms of the state support for higher education. Tuition here is relatively high compared to other states.
An influx of cash from evidence-based funding has boosted Illinois' national per-pupil spending rank, but Hancock says the report shows that no gains have been made in some proficiency rates.
Illinois has put in $2.8 billion a year in new EBF funding to the K-12 system. What's interesting, though, is that proficiency levels in reading and math have kind of stagnated. And this is based on the National Assessment of Educational Progress, a national test that's administered in all 50 states.
Hancock says the silver lining is that Illinois proficiency rates have remained steady, while other states have declined. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
There's a small public school in Limay that's getting national attention because of improved test scores. They use behavior scores for students. That's based on things like attendance, preparedness, engagement in class. Hancock Place High School principal David Williams.
Well, we've seen more than an 80% reduction in all discipline referrals. And it's really important to note, this is not the administration's response to discipline referrals. These are actually the referrals that are coming out of the classroom that teachers are writing. And that is truly remarkable. We've seen improvements in attendance. We've seen decreases in tardies. And we've seen dramatic decreases now in our failure rates. I think we had a global failure rate that was somewhere around 38%. We finished the last school year under 8% for a global failure rate, which is really, truly remarkable.
30 schools around the state are studying this model. You can hear more about how it works on our KMOX podcast page.
The Dodgers are just a win away from returning to the World Series after taking a 3-0 lead in the NLCS last night, thanks to a win over the Milwaukee Brewers. It was a 1-1 game in the sixth inning before former Cardinal Tommy Edman faced Jacob Misiorowski.
That's a liner into center field. That's down for a base hit. Here comes Smith. Felix got a great arm. It's cut off. Throw the third, not in time. Tommy Edman puts the Dodgers in front. Edman on the first pitch delivers in the clutch again. And the Dodgers get to Misiorowski in the sixth inning.
Brian Anderson on TBS. The Dodgers would add another in the sixth inning. They chased Misiorowski then. He still struck out 9 in 5 full innings of work. 3-1 was the final last night. Tyler Glasnow started and worked 5 2/3 innings for the Dodgers. He gave up a run on 3 hits, and he struck out 8 himself. Game 4 of that series is tonight in L.A. Shohei Ohtani works for the Dodgers. He's looking for his second win of the postseason. The Brewers are yet to decide on a starter for tonight. In the American League, the Blue Jays went down 2-0 in the series at home, and now they've turned the tables on the Mariners after winning Game 3. They win Game 4 last night, 8-2 to even up the ALCS. And 41-year-old St. Louis and Max Scherzer, well, he had a big part last night.
John Schneider's out there to make a change. Max Scherzer, 5 2/3. What a night. Scherzer, take a bow. Game 4, the American League Championship Series, in position to win his first postseason game in 6 years.
Well, that he did. 5 strikeouts over those 5 2/3 innings for Mad Max. By the way, his last win in the postseason came in 2019, helping the Nationals to the World Series title. And Vlad Guerrero Jr., he continues to swing a hot bat in the postseason.
Jays getting 3 in the third, 2 in the fourth. Guerrero drives the ball the other way. Canzone's going back. He's at the wall. It's gone! Vlad Jr. strikes again with his 5th home run of the postseason. Toronto takes the run right back.
That's Joe Davis on Fox, by the way. Guerrero is now hitting .455. He has an OPS of 1.470 in the playoffs. Game 5 of the ALCS is tonight in Seattle. Kevin Gausman for the Jays against Bryce Miller for the Mariners. St. Louis City plays its final game of the year tomorrow night, as they take on Real Salt Lake at Energizer Park. City looking to end the year with 3 wins in its final 4 games under interim head coach David Critchley. RSL is 12-17-4. They're in the final postseason spot right now in the Western Conference with 40 points. Kickoff set for 8 o'clock tomorrow, 7:45 with the pregame on our sister station, Y98. And the Blues are back on the ice tomorrow night at Enterprise Center, looking to bounce back from the Wednesday loss against the Blackhawks. They've got Dallas tomorrow night at 6. Next sports update comes up at 7:45. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people-friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real. And I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
At 7:20, we're checking the roads and the weather. Right now, Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the traffic's certainly nice. And the weather's okay for today, I suppose. Not bad. It'll get a little busier, but northbound 55, you just have that slowdown approaching 67, not quite midway back to 61. And there's a little bit of volume back to seeing it again between Bayless and River de Pere, northbound as well. North 270, a little slow at Gravois. From Doherty Ferry, most of the way up to 64. That earlier crash is still on the shoulder, midway between Manchester and Clayton Road, but not really bothering anybody. In fact, I think the police left the scene. I don't see their flashing lights any longer, so that's a good sign, obviously. Eastbound 70 and 64 still looking great coming in from out west the Wentzville way. No delays on those runs across the Missouri River bridges, really all the way into downtown. You're still clear. Westbound across the Poplar and Mutual Veterans Bridges, things still look great. Don't forget, at 8:30 this morning, from 8:30 to 3:30 this afternoon, they're going to close the King Bridge completely. But, of course, you have all the other bridges downtown available to you. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, that weather means that we've got rain on the way. I know you're looking out the window this morning and I see blue skies, just a few clouds, but the storms will come tomorrow. Today, we've got partly sunny skies and a high of 84 degrees. Cloudy and breezy for Saturday with a couple of showers, some heavy thunderstorms, maybe some damaging wind gusts, hail, even a tornado is a possibility, a high of 75. And for Sunday, it's going to be very windy. Hang on to those Halloween decorations. Right now, though, it's just mostly clear in downtown St. Louis, 62 degrees.
Next time somebody says St. Louis, what's St. Louis got?
It's time, ladies and gentlemen, to try and guess from the clues where Scott Jagow's been roaming, and helping me, Debbie Monterrey, in the guessing is Joe Pott. Ready?
I am ready.
And
I'm ready to roll.
Stuart McMillan.
I was born ready.
You were.
All right, we're ready.
Okay. Here's the first clue.
Our paella is certainly something that, a lot of people come, they will have a few tapas, and then they'll share a paella for a table of 2 or 3 or 4. Just put a new strip loin on the menu, a new Brussels sprout dish. We've got a new salmon hitting the menu tonight, a new pasta dish setting on the menu tonight.
Topless and stripping.
Topless.
What? This is a family show, Jagow. Come on.
Where his brain goes.
Paella.
Paella and tapas.
That's
So,
a big clue, obviously.
okay.
How many places in St. Louis serve paella?
I don't know.
100 maybe.
I bet you can
No.
count them on one hand. They serve topless.
Topless
Oh, I'm
strip.
sorry.
Wait, yeah.
Topless paella.
I got my thinking cap on.
Okay.
I don't know which one.
I don't know which
I
one.
think I need to get a
I
different
think
one
you need
on.
to be careful right now. All right, I'm gonna play another clue.
There's so many people that tell stories about how their grandpas used to come
Yeah.
here, their dads used to come here,
Yeah.
and they used to get dragged here. I've gotten to see a few people's reactions as the first time of walking through the gallery spaces and through, the event spaces and the spa. Right.
Mm-hmm.
You felt like you were still here, but it's been preserved, but it's also now a space that a lot of other people can enjoy.
Gallery.
Transformed
Taking a
the
left
space.
turn.
This was
Yeah, gallery space, and
it's been around
it's
for
been
a
around
long
for
time.
a long time. It's been
something different,
rehabbed.
right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Reimagined.
Reimagined. That's the best way to put it.
That's a good way.
Okay.
All right. So now we got some ideas here. Let's go to number 3.
So I thought for Restaurant Week, we were going to do a smoked St. Louis pork steak. So it's going to be a little twist on what we do here. So I made a Bravas barbecue sauce. So think of like a smoky paprika, onion, garlic, but also now a sweet apple cider, tangy barbecue sauce, but a smoked pork steak that we're going to grill.
Okay, she said Restaurant Week, which is next week downtown. So are we downtown?
Aha!
We are downtown?
We're downtown.
Oh, I'm
baby. We are downtown. We're literally downtown, and this is downtown. So, I mean, I'm narrowing it here.
Yes.
for you.
Thank you.
Clues.
You've helped me so much.
Renovated space, pork steak.
And people used to go there.
Paella. Yeah, people used to go there.
Old timey.
Getting it. Anything?
We need more clues.
I got one more. I got another clue for you.
Well, should.
All right, here we go.
We are doing a fundraising event for No Kid Hungry. Our dining room, we're going to be offering a play on s'mores. So it is a smoked pavlova, coffee ice cream, chocolate, graham cracker crumb. From the bar, we'll be also doing a Webster Groves cocktail, and proceeds from that will also go to the foundation.
I'm just trying to throw you off there. It's not in Webster Groves.
What's a Webster Groves cocktail, though?
That's a good question. I think she elaborated on it afterwards, but I didn't put it in the clue.
Because it would have really taken us off another
Yeah, I know.
path.
I didn't want to go too far away
Man.
from downtown to Webster Groves because this place is downtown. It's very close to here. Very close
okay.
to this
I
place.
have a guess.
I think
I
you
told you.
Okay.
I told you.
I know.
Okay, let's see.
I'm
Let's
totally
see.
lost.
I got the
Where
bell
are we?
ready just in case.
Is it Idlewolf?
I told you.
Very good.
No, it's Beowulf.
And the 21C,
That's correct.
Oh, that
which
makes
used to be
sense
the
now.
downtown YMCA, which was
Exactly.
such a
Very
cool
good.
building.
Very
Yeah.
good.
See,
Good job.
all the clues make sense.
They do after, in hindsight, they do.
Yeah.
I didn't
But
realize they
it's-
had
I mean,
paella.
I've been to 21C as a roaming separately, but it was all about the museum and the artwork and all that. It wasn't specifically about the restaurant. But since next week is Downtown Restaurant Week, I figured I'd go to a downtown restaurant. And that one is fairly new, maybe 2-3 years old. And they do some really cool stuff. That is Bonnie Moore, the chef that you heard from. She's the head chef. She grew up in St. Louis, but then she went to school in New York City at one of the culinary
Premier
institutes.
Culinary,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then she came back. I think she worked at CJ Muggs for some time. And
Sure.
She's got some roots here.
Wow.
but she also has some of haute cuisine type talent, and then she's doing a lot of locally grown stuff. It's the restaurant. If you've ever eaten there, it's amazing.
And when they bring you your check, they bring you cotton candy.
They do bring you cotton candy,
which is cool.
I forgot about
what's that story.
I don't.
Sounds like a
there's
whole other. Yeah,
there is a story, and I don't remember what it was, but I was just so amused that we were eating cotton candy.
It's just when you look at your bill, it's like sweetens the deal. You're just going.
It's not inexpensive. I will say that.
$500. Oh yeah.
All right. When will we hear more, Scott?
As always, 8:20 and 9:20 on Sunday morning.
It is now 7:28. The time check sponsored by Jerry Kelley Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call the Lance Story Law Firm today and let us get between you and the IRS. We'll protect your rights, including your right to appeal or even your right to take the IRS to tax court. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney team who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Story Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis, or visit Lance, DRURY, law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm, the Lance Story Law Firm, 314-260-6120.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
House stealing. It's a nightmare that's real. It's the FBI's term for thieves stealing your home's title and draining your equity. Just one fake document filed with a recorder, and scammers can own your home on paper, drain your equity, and do it all without you even knowing. Imagine waking up to a foreclosure or eviction notice. Listen to former title thief Matt Cox.
What people don't realize is the ease in which this crime can happen. I can take the deed to your house and I can transfer that deed into my name. It's a great crime, and it's happening all the time.
So how can you stop the nightmare and protect yourself? Find out if you're already a victim now at HomeTitleLock.com. Use promo code RADIO and get a 30-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, a title scan, and access to a title specialist, a $250 value. Don't wait. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now, promo code RADIO.
It is 7:30. We have partly cloudy skies and 61 degrees downtown at the Gateway Arch. Good morning. I'm Scott Jagow.
And I'm Debbie Monterrey, along with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's a pretty easy going Friday morning. We've only had one crash on the highway so far. I hope I'm not jinxing it, but that's been the worst of it. Northbound 55 is then out at 67. It is slow, though, from Bayless up to River to Pear. If you're on northbound 270, you have a good run going. A little busy right through that Doherty Ferry stretch, and it's still a little slow between Manchester and Clayton Road where he had that crash on the shoulder. Both ways just off the pace between 64 and Ladue. Again, really not that much to be worried about there. Eastbound 70 and eastbound 64 coming in from the Wentzville split. No problems across the bridges. In fact, they both look great all the way in through the inner belt downtown. We're still good to go westbound across the Poplar Musial Veterans Bridges. No delays there either. Don't forget, the King Bridge will close this morning at 8:30 till about 3:30 this afternoon for road work. But again, you have the Poplar Musial Veterans, you have the Eads Bridge, you got the McKinley Bridge on the north side, so plenty of other options to get into town once that happens. Next update at 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Your weather forecast, temperatures around 84 this afternoon. Things are going to start to cool off once we get some rain and storms over the weekend. They'll start toward dawn tomorrow, and then a couple of showers and heavy storms are possible throughout Saturday with a high of 75. Sunday, 68. We also will have some gusty winds, and then upper 70s on Monday, 65 the high on Tuesday. It is 63 right now in St. Peter, 64 in Florissant, 61 downtown.
With West Nile virus activity rising in Missouri, health experts are urging residents to take mosquito precautions seriously. State epidemiologist Dr. George Turbolidze says the lack of treatment options makes prevention even more critical.
There is no licensed vaccine, and there is no medication that specifically works against this virus. So whatever symptom you have, you will try to help with that, but there is no medication that goes after the virus specifically.
Golf cart legislation passes through an aldermanic committee. Here's Alderman Matt Devotie, the sponsor.
Anybody who lives on the Hill, lives in Benton Park, Soulard, St. Louis Hills, realizes the benefit that these vehicles provide to our communities. They are easy, quick, efficient ways to get around.
Devotie's bill would limit golf carts to roads with speed limits of 25 miles per hour or less and require safety equipment like headlamps and seatbelts. The whole board is expected to consider it next week.
Meanwhile, the Consumer Product Safety Commission warns people to immediately stop using tens of thousands of golf carts and similar vehicles. Here's correspondent Jesse Mitchell.
Nearly 100,000 Textron E-Z-Go PTVs were recalled because the fuel could leak, posing a fire hazard. Another 23,000 Yamaha golf carts from model years 2017 to 2025 have also been recalled. Regulators say the Drive 2 model lacks stoplights, which can pose a crash risk, and the Yamaha DR2A and DR2E models may fail to brake, which could cause crashes and serious injury.
What's a way to keep families from leaving the city? St. Mary's Southside Catholic High School President Mike England says programs like the state Mo Scholars program are helpful. It provides $6,000 grants for students to attend private schools. He tells KMOX 97% of St. Mary's students are on financial aid.
What better way to invest into an underserved area of the city of St. Louis than through education?
But critics point out 98% of the taxpayer-funded scholarships are redeemed at religious schools. He says while Catholicism formed the foundation of St. Mary's, 75% of the students are actually not Catholic, and, quote, we're not in there to convert anyone.
It is 7:34. We're going to check your money report from Bloomberg next on Total Information AM. The news is sponsored for you by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
More and more now, I'm hearing when all my customers that are calling and setting up appointments for looking at different types of furnace and air conditioners, they're calling in because of all the years that I've said there is a common sense approach, and they want to see what that is. Well over 95% of the people are very happy that they did call me. I'm not saying that they purchased anything from me, but they're extremely happy that they did call me. It's not being cheaper. It's being explained in such a way to where they can make an honest decision for themselves and their family and what's best for their pocketbook. When you start getting prices for the furnace and air conditioners, call me. It's one easy number, Missouri and Illinois. Again, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Again, that's 314-293-2600, or on the internet, it is bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
It is 7:36, and your money report is brought to you this hour by Busey Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Stocks are headed for a lower opening today after two banks, Zions and Western Alliance, revealed losses from bad loans to the same borrower. Wall Street gets jittery if they see underlying problems with banks because it can affect the entire economy. Shares of Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk are both down after President Trump said the price of Ozempic could come down to just $150 a month. Right now, the U.S. list price of Ozempic, which is made by Novo, is about $1,000 for a month's supply. Lilly makes similar treatments, Wegovy and Zepbound. The president's comments following the administration's deal with Merck to cut prices for fertility treatments in exchange for a break on pharmaceutical tariffs. And Samsung is gearing up to unveil a new tri-fold smartphone later this month at APEC in South Korea. Its first device with 2 hinges, allowing it to work as a phone or a larger tablet when it's fully open. Bloomberg says people will get to see it on the sidelines of the summit, but they may not be able to touch it. It'll be available to consumers later this year. Monica Ricks, Bloomberg Radio.
This is the Let's Revitalize Our Neighborhoods commitment. This is the Roll Up Our Sleeves and Pitch In commitment. This is Busey, where our commitment to strengthen our communities is a top priority. Through energetic, engaged volunteers, through monetary support, community leadership, and advocacy. Because Busey is more than a bank that does well, we're a bank that does good. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth, since 1868. Member FDIC.
He's Donald Trump's #1 enemy in Congress, Chicago politician Dick Durbin. Now, Durbin has a new scheme. He's doing the dirty work to benefit corporate megastores. Durbin's bill could cut corners on your credit card security, putting your personal data at risk. Big chain retailers and warehouse stores want to inflate their profits, and liberal Dick Durbin would help them do it. Tell senators, say no to the megastores and Dick Durbin. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
Dave, congratulations on your 25th anniversary from BioBalance Health, Dr. Sullivan, and me personally. You have single-handedly helped us reach hundreds of new patients, both men and women, over the past 15 years. Since 2010, BioBalance has been treating men and women over the age of 40 with testosterone pellets and preventative medicine. BioBalance Health was the first medical hormone pellet practice in St. Louis. Now we are the most successful. Dave has not only been our partner at BioBalance Health, but also our patient and great friend. Thanks, Dave.
From your friends at Lombardo Homes, congrats to Dave Glover and the DGS Show on 25 years of building something great. Thanks for keeping St. Louis entertained, informed, and laughing all along the way.
I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com.
Sunday, the Chiefs face the Raiders at Arrowhead.
Seitlin Cancer Center game time, 11 a.m. Seitlin Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer.
The Chiefs, the Raiders, on your home for Chiefs football. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It is 7:39, traffic and weather on the way. Retailers are apprehensive about holiday spending. Charles Gaskin is senior economist with the Federal Reserve of St. Louis.
With all the supply chain disruptions and pricing uncertainty, that's been a difficult environment to manage. And the concern that we hear from retailers is they worry they may have bought too much, and then they're going to have cash locked up in inventory that they're going to have to discount.
Gaskin says, on the other hand, retailers are worried they won't have enough of the hot holiday items to be competitive.
At 7:40, let's get a check of the roads. Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, this is usually the peak of rush hour, but it's really not bad on a Friday, Scott. This traffic reports the service of Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty. North 55 is just a little slow into 67. North of Bales up to River to Pear, a little busy. Northbound 270. Approaching Doherty Ferry, most of the way up to Ladou's kind of slow. South 270 just right at Ladou's, a little heavy, but no big deal there. Eastbound 64, I'm seeing a slowdown just right as you approach Highway K, but it looks good at Lake St. Louis and Winghaven, and east of there, wide open to the Interbelt. Westbound 64, that North 170 ramp looks a little slow, but no delays on the through lanes at that point. Downtown, we're still clear westbound across the Poplar and Musewell Veterans Bridges. I did get a little update from my friend Dave at Scanner News STL. You know, I mentioned earlier about that odd duck incident where a tree came down on a power pole and put power lines down across a tanker truck on Highway 100 at Decker Road. And he told me that there's 63 customers without power in that area in Labadee. So I imagine that's due to that incident. So unfortunate, but that's the only active sort of a situation we have going on. And again, that's in Franklin County. Next update is 7:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
It is 7:41. This is Total Information AM. Time for us to check in with our AccuWeather meteorologist, Heather Zaire, who's here to tell us there is a change afoot weather-wise.
There certainly is. So we have had days of very warm weather. This is kind of carrying us all the way back to the end of September that we've had warm weather. We had one little cool spell right around the beginning of the second week of October. And otherwise, we have had highs well above 80 degrees in many cases. Yesterday wasn't quite as warm. It was 82. We're getting up to 84 this afternoon, and we'll have partly sunny skies. So overall, that same pattern is going to continue. Tonight, some clouds around, and it stays breezy and warm. We'll have a low of 67. However, we're already starting to see some of those changes. A thunderstorm will be around northwest of the city late tonight, and we'll have a couple of showers and heavy thunderstorms moving through the area tomorrow. The clouds and the precipitation already will help to keep the temperature down a bit. 75 will be the high, but there's also a risk of severe weather, flooding, downpours, and hail and damaging winds, all likely for tomorrow. And there is a chance that there could be a tornado as well. Then we really cool off behind the front that brings those storms. Sunday will start off cloudy, but then the sun returns. We'll have gusty winds and a high of 68. A quick warm up back to 77 with sunshine and a breeze on Monday, then back down to 65, breezy with sunshine on Tuesday. 63 right now in St. Peters, 64 in Florissant, and downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zayer on 104.1 FM KMOX.
And that weather is sponsored for you by Lion's Choice, where you can enjoy a quick and delicious meal, but make it healthy with plenty of low-cal, low-carb, vegetarian, and gluten-free options. There's something to satisfy everyone on the Lion's Choice menu. Stop by today, Lion's Choice.
How about some classic Bob Costas? I've got just a taste coming up in sports.
It is 7:43. Fox 2 morning host Tim Ezel gives a public update on his health. He had shared with viewers that he was diagnosed with Parkinson's, but that has changed.
From Parkinson's disease to MSA, which is multiple system atrophy. It mimics Parkinson's in a lot of ways, but it also has some of its own markers, which one of them is autonomic dysfunction, which is the inability to regulate blood pressure, which is something I've had since like 2013.
Yeah. And he says that's why he has to step away from TV. He's going to the Mayo Clinic for testing and is excited about that, but there is no cure for MSA.
We're hearing for the first time from Rennie Knott after his departure from KSDK. In a Facebook post, Knott didn't elaborate on what happened, but admitted his heart is broken, but he's also grateful.
You guys have been tremendous, and I love you. That love helps me move forward. It helps my family move forward.
Knott hopes to be able to continue telling stories in St. Louis. KSDK hasn't commented on his departure either. Knott joined Channel 5 in 2004.
Yesterday marked a somber anniversary in Missouri politics. It was 25 years ago that Governor Mel Carnahan was killed in a plane crash. KMOX's Nan Wyatt the next morning reported from Jefferson City.
I'm outside the Missouri governor's mansion where several lights are on this day of mourning. The apparent loss of Missouri Governor Mel Carnahan, his son Randy, and his chief of staff Chris Bifford. There are memorial flowers growing here at the gates outside the Italianate mansion.
The crash happened in Hillsborough in 2000 while Carnahan was campaigning for a U.S. Senate seat. His name remained on the ballot, and a month later, Missouri voters made history by posthumously electing him over John Ashcroft.
1 week after their first loss of the season, 16th ranked Missouri will play their first road game of the year tomorrow when they travel to Auburn to face the Auburn Tigers at Jordan-Hare Stadium. In his weekly press conference, Mizzou head coach Eli Drinkowitz talked about that last game against Alabama and addressed the inability the way they had earlier in the season.
I think when you watch the overall totality of the game, it comes down to our inability to stay on the field. You know, we had 10 third downs in that game. We were 1 for 10. It's hard to establish any type of rhythm or consistency on offense. We had 3 3-and-outs in a 4-play drive. And the third downs were not extremely long. It wasn't like we were behind the chains. We just didn't convert the way we needed to, which also swayed the time of possession and allowed them to have the ball too much.
It's the Mizzou head coach from his weekly press conference at MUTigers.com. Mizzou is 5-1. Auburn is 3-3. Kickoff is 6:45 tomorrow night. That game is on SEC Network. St. Louis City plays its final game of the 2025 season tomorrow night as they face Real Salt Lake at Energizer Park. City is 8-18-7. They're looking to end the year with 3 wins in their final 4 games under interim head coach David Critchley. RSL is 12-17-4. They're in the final postseason spot in the Western Conference currently with 40 points. Kickoff is set for 8 o'clock tomorrow. Pregame comes up on our sister station, Y98, at 7:45. The Blues are back at Enterprise Center tomorrow night. That follows the 8-3 loss to the Blackhawks on Wednesday. Blues 2-2 overall, 0-2 at home so far. Dallas is 3-1 in the early going. Puck drops tomorrow at 6 o'clock. And one from the archives for you.
But the Spirits are going to call a timeout before Memphis puts the ball back in play. 2:52 to go in the first quarter. Spirits 18, Memphis 14. This is Spirits basketball.
Of course, that's KMOX alum Bob Costas calling a Spirits of St. Louis game. That is actually courtesy of a YouTube clip. Tomorrow, though, is the 51st anniversary of the first Spirits of St. Louis home game. October 18th, 1974, the Spirits lost to the Memphis Sounds 97-94 at the arena. I'm Joe Pott on your home of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you are facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kellwood, St. Louis.
An important message from S&L Coins. S&L Coins pays top dollar for your gold and silver coins, old currency, gold-filled jewelry, scrap gold and silver, silver plating, gold and silver bullion. Get a quote with a call to S&L at 544-3600. S&L Coins, 544-3600. Or visit S&L Coins at 9300 Gravois, just east of McKenzie. Open 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 Saturday. Before you sell, call S&L 544-3600.
This is Justin Brown with Krentz Financial Group. For over 6 decades, we've helped St. Louis families and businesses plan with purpose and live with confidence. Is your financial advisor proactive or reactive? If your strategy or service feels stagnant or misaligned, it may be time for a change. Our defined, proactive approach to investments and communication keeps you informed and prepared for what's ahead. Let's talk about what makes us different and how a more engaged advisor can help you reach your goals. Your goals, our mission. Start today at kfgadvisors.com.
Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services. Member FINRA/SIPC. Prince Financial Group is our broker-dealer.
KMOX proudly supports the Musial Awards, returning to Stiefel Theater Saturday, November 22nd. You can be in the audience for this nationally televised event, hosted right here in St. Louis. Named for Stan the Man, the show celebrates the year's greatest moments of sportsmanship and those who embody class and character. Experience the extraordinary moments and people that make the Musial Awards an event like no other. For more information, KMOX.com/events.
Now, the news. At 9, The Talk. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
At 7:50, traffic and weather together. Roger Brand's in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Not too much to be concerned about on the highways so far this morning, Scott. It's been a pretty easygoing morning. Northbound 55 just sort of typically slow, better than most days, obviously, but Bayless, north of Bayless up to River to Pears, just kind of slow there. Northbound 270 approaching Manchester, most of the way up to Ladue, slower traffic, and of course primarily in the right lane. South 270 approaching Ladue, just a brief delay there. Eastbound 70, just a little slow, it looks like, approaching Highway K, and there's a little slowdown between Cave Springs and Sunbelt. Eastbound 64 between Clarkson and Timberlake, it's a little busy approaching McKnight. Westbound 64, not that big a deal really. The Bellevue area and the ramp lane getting onto North 170, just a little crowded. And downtown, we still look great westbound. No delays across the Poplar. Mutual Veterans Bridges 44 eastbound at the Poplar. Again, just a little bit of a heavy stretch there. Next update at 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's going to be another summery day today with partly sunny skies and a high of 84 degrees, but then the storms come in tomorrow. We're looking at possibly some heavy thunderstorms tomorrow. Maybe hail damaging wind gusts. A tornado is not out of the realm of possibility. A high of 75, but then that drops down to 68 for a high on Sunday, and it'll be really windy as well Sunday. It's sunny now and 62 degrees downtown.
The news continues at 7:52. Missouri's Attorney General Catherine Hanaway says she's tired of Republicans playing defense. That's why she's gone on offense when it comes to the redistricting map. She's filed a federal lawsuit to block the possibility of a public vote.
The U.S. Constitution delegates to the people's elected representatives, in this case, the Missouri General Assembly, the right to draw congressional districts. And a number of dark money organizations from outside Missouri are trying to put it on the ballot to repeal the new congressional districts drawn by the Missouri General Assembly. And so we've gone into federal court to assert those constitutional rights of the General Assembly to draw the districts.
The legal challenge came just hours after Secretary of State Denny Hoskins gave the go-ahead for the group to begin officially collecting signatures for the petition.
The standoff at Boeing is escalating, with the union now accusing the company of unfair labor practices. Machinist union members who've been on strike since August 4th have filed a charge against the company with the National Labor Relations Board for allegedly stonewalling negotiations. Boeing's position remains firm, saying there is no more money coming and that it will continue to hire replacement workers.
The president of the University of Missouri system, Mun Choi, acknowledges there's an increasing crime problem around the Mizzou campus. He says they're working closely with Columbia Police.
There's been almost a 40% increase in calls for support and arrests of the homeless population, primarily in downtown that borders our campus. And there have been 277 arrests of homeless individuals last year.
Choi says there's also an environment of lawlessness in some parts of the city. He rebuffed those who feel he should keep quiet about it.
Another safe haven baby box to be installed in our area. The baby boxes allow for an infant to be left in a climate-controlled box confidentially. An alarm goes off to alert first responders. This one will be installed at the Florissant Firehouse number 1. It's the first in North St. Louis County and funded entirely by donations.
Metro is introducing some new ways to make it quicker and smoother to ride. Fare validators are already installed on buses. You just tap your mobile ticket, see a green light, and go. That same technology will be expanded to MetroLink station gates. Metro is also introducing a reloadable card and an app.
The success of City Foundry is a good argument to think twice about putting a massive data center across the street at the Armory. That's according to Steve Smith, the CEO of New and Found, the people behind the Foundry and 2 large new apartment buildings. It's all across from IKEA next to the SLU campus. Smith tells St. Louis Magazine city leaders should prioritize projects that make St. Louis a destination. The Foundry has become one of the city's most visited attractions, and Smith says the district should be a destination and a hub of innovation and community building.
Bella's on Washington Avenue is closed, but the frozen yogurt shop will reopen later this year as an all-day cafe with a full bar. Owner Corey James is doing the rebrand in partnership with Oliver Properties. That's taken over a number of buildings on Wash Ave and plans to open a food hall soon. James, who's run Bella's for 7 years, says it's time to reinvest and reimagine what a true downtown coffee house can be, giving downtown residents and visitors a place to connect morning and night.
Well, speaking of downtown, there are some names you'll recognize and some new places, as well as places you've been meaning to check out. Sarah Arnosky-Co with Greater St. Louis Inc. says Downtown Restaurant Week kicks off on Monday.
This is really a great opportunity for people that maybe haven't come downtown in a while, but they've been, hearing about Idle Wolf at 21C or Blood and Sand and Ramsey's Kitchen, like all these really great restaurants, that this is kind of a good excuse to come down and check them out.
There are more than 25 restaurants and bars participating with a variety of discounts, offers, and special meals. All the information is at dinedowntownsTL.com.
The time is 7:56.
Hey, Illinois, this is Ben Barnett, board-certified master arborist and owner at Timberline Professional Tree Care. Sorry, St. Louis, this message is for our friends in the Metro East. Did you know that most Missouri-based tree contractors can't legally travel into Illinois? This is due to federal motor carrier regulations that require large trucks and their drivers to be registered with the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration in order to travel across state lines. Almost all other tree services in Missouri fail to meet the requirements for safety, drug and alcohol testing, and equipment maintenance that are required for interstate travel. Here at Timberline, we meet and exceed all of these requirements and will be glad to travel across the river to meet all of your tree care needs. Call us today at 636-479-7475 for tree fertilization, pruning, insect and disease treatment, or complete removal. Or visit our website at stltreecare.com. That's stltreecare.com for service in the Metro East area.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Renewal by Andersen is the #1 window and door brand for customer service. Schedule your free inspection today. Just dial pound 250 on your phone and say the keyword Windows. That's pound 250 keyword Windows, or head to rbastl.com.
At 7:58, Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we've had an easygoing Friday morning so far, Scott. They were working with a stall earlier, just a few minutes ago, northbound 55 near Broadway, clearing that. Northbound 55 as you drive into work this morning is okay at 67. It's cleared out at the River to Pear and through Broadway, so everything looks fine for you there. If you're on northbound 270, that's a place we've had to slow down a little bit this morning. Again, not bad. It is a Friday. Manchester up to Ladue is kind of heavy. Southbound, just right at 64 is a little slow. Eastbound 64 and 70 coming in from the split out Wentzville way. Across the Missouri River bridges look fine. It's a little slow. Eastbound 64 approaching the Interbelt. Downtown, westbound across the Poplar, Musial Veterans Bridges continues to cruise. Don't forget this morning at 8:30, they will close the King Bridge. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Friday, October 17th. I'm Debbie Monterrey. The Kremlin says many questions need to be answered before the next Trump-Putin summit.
I'm Scott Jagow. Off Venezuela, CBS News learns the U.S. has destroyed another boat.
KISS founding guitarist Ace Frehley dead at 74 weeks after suffering a fall.
Consumer groups urging regulators to further slash Ameren's requested natural gas rate hike. This after administrative judges already suggested the utility is asking Illinois customers for too much.
No Kings protests are planned this weekend around the nation and around St. Louis.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zayer. Partly sunny and very warm today, high 84.
Winner of the National Edward R. Murrow Award for breaking news. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez, and we begin with breaking news from Maryland. President Trump's former national security advisor, John Bolton, has just arrived at a federal courthouse to surrender, a day after he was charged with mishandling classified information. Correspondent Scott McFarland from Washington.
Prosecutors say after Bolton left office, a cyber actor believed to be associated with Iran hacked Bolton's personal email. Trump responded to the charges Thursday.
I think he's a bad guy. Yeah, he's a bad guy. It's too bad, but it's the way it goes.
In a statement, Bolton said his conduct was lawful and the charges are part of Trump's intensive effort to intimidate his opponents to ensure that he alone determines what is said about his conduct.
President Trump set to host Ukraine's leader Volodymyr Zelensky at the White House a day after he spoke to Vladimir Putin by phone. Correspondent Naomi Ruckham.
With Russia launching more attacks ahead of today's meeting, Zelensky is expected to press the president to give Ukraine long-range Tomahawk missiles. The president says he asked Putin about that yesterday.
I did actually say, would you mind if I gave a couple of thousand Tomahawks to your opposition? He didn't like the idea.
The Kremlin says that giving Ukraine Tomahawks could damage prospects for a peaceful settlement.
Tension still rising between the U.S. and Venezuela. CBS News has learned the U.S. has taken out another boat off the coast, the sixth in more than a month. President Trump claims they were all packed with drugs and headed for the U.S. This week, he acknowledged he'd given the CIA the authority to conduct covert operations inside Venezuela. Anti-Trump No Kings protests are planned across the country again. Correspondent Michael Wallace.
The last rallies were on June 14th, President Trump's birthday. There will be 2,600 protests tomorrow. House Speaker Mike Johnson is calling them Hate America rallies.
The Antifa crowd and the pro-Hamas crowd and the Marxists, they're all going to gather on the mall.
No Kings organizer Leah Greenberg.
Republicans are blaming and smearing millions of Americans who are peacefully protesting because they have run out of excuses for their own failures.
The protests in June were mostly peaceful.
Planning to travel over the holidays? Get a move on. CBS's Chris Van Cleves at the airport in Phoenix.
Thanksgiving 2024 was the busiest Thanksgiving ever at the nation's airports, records that may be shattered again this year. Booking data looking at 2024 versus 2025 shows holiday trips booked between June 30th and October 8th are up 2.2% for Thanksgiving and nearly 1% for Christmas week.
Dow futures up 31, Nas futures down 80. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive. See why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive to stay protected on the road. See for yourself at Progressive.com.
At 8:03, we have mostly sunny skies now, 60 degrees downtown at the Gateway Arch. It is Friday, October 17th. Good morning. I'm Scott Jagow.
And I'm Debbie Monterrey. If you plan to attend a No Kings rally, there's many across the region this weekend, you should know some of the do's and don'ts of demonstrating.
KMOX legal analyst Brad Young says in most cases you can assemble on sidewalks or in public places like parks without a permit, but you can't block other people's access. You can use bullhorns, but if it's too noisy, law enforcement can tell you to quiet down, and you're within your rights to record the police.
That's completely legal in the United States. You can pull out your phones and record anything that's happening in the public.
Young points out protesters cannot block traffic or emergency routes. They can't commit mob actions like busting into cars or setting things on fire, and they're not allowed to trespass on private property. If groups want to stage a counter demonstration, they are within their rights to do so. Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
In other news, the striking machinists union has filed a federal labor complaint against Boeing. In a charge filed with the National Labor Relations Board, the union accuses the company of refusing to bargain in good faith. The union says Boeing has repeatedly rejected its proposals without making any counteroffers. The two sides have been locked in a strike since early August.
Administrative law judges have recommended Ameren, Illinois, cut its natural gas rate hike request by 1/3. Consumer advocates like Jim Chilson with the Illinois Citizens Utility Board want state regulators to go even further.
For the sake of Ameren's customers who have suffered through one gas rate hike after another, we urge the Illinois Commerce Commission to go far beyond the proposed order and slash Ameren's money grab.
Ameren is requesting a nearly $129 million rate hike that could add an additional $10 to the average residential gas bill. Consumer groups argue Ameren's asking for an excessive amount of profit, and the utility has been spending more than it needs to on improvements. In a statement to KMOX, Ameren's senior director of gas operations maintains the investments are necessary to meet federal pipeline safety requirements, reduce leaks, and provide reliable service. He adds the utility evaluates methods that reach that compliance at the lowest possible cost and says Ameren, Illinois does take steps to purchase and store natural gas in the summer when prices are typically lower.
Another lawsuit is filed in Missouri's Republican congressional map saga.
Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway filed a federal lawsuit to stop the activist group People Not Politicians from forcing a vote on the new Republican congressional map, saying the Missouri Constitution explicitly gives authority to draw maps to the legislature, not voters. She claims the lawsuit aims to protect Missouri's authority from being, quote, hijacked by out-of-state dark money groups, close quote. 100,000 signatures already gathered by People Not Politicians are not valid because they were collected before the Secretary of State officially approved them to be collected. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
It's complete lawlessness in the city sheriff's department with Sheriff Alfred Montgomery behind bars, says Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway.
What we need is the state court judge to remove him from office and the governor to appoint a new sheriff.
That judge admonished the Attorney General's office in the last hearing for being aggressive. The next hearing is October 20th. Hanaway says she doesn't know who will oversee the office in charge of courthouse security and jail transport until then.
There's no provision in the law for this sort of interim acting sheriff. Clearly, the Sheriff Montgomery can't carry out his duties from jail. It's a mess.
Meanwhile, nearly a half a century ago, another sheriff found himself in similar trouble.
In 1978, then Sheriff Benjamin Goins was found guilty of 6 counts of corruption and tax evasion from his time as the city's license collector. Similar to today, the first-year sheriff refused to resign his position. Former Mayor Vincent Shamel was in his first years as an alderman back then.
I wasn't in any inner circles down there. I didn't have any inside scoop, but you could tell that there was sort of a sense that we had to get on top of this.
His advice to Montgomery?
It'd be best for him, it'd be best for the city, it'd be best for everybody if he would leave and just work out the best deal he can work out and get on with life.
Shamel says he isn't sure if voters knew what they were getting when they elected Montgomery to the job. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
For St. Mary's Southside Catholic High School, a state scholarship program is a, quote, tremendous tool for both keeping the school open and keeping its neighborhood safe.
For a place like ours, where 97% of our kids need financial aid, for families whose son is coming into the school with a Most scholarship of about, I believe the number is $6,450. That's a great benefit, not just to his family, but also to our school.
England says it can be the deciding factor for families weighing whether they can afford to stay in the city or move into a county district. Critics point out 98% of the scholarship funds go to religious schools, arguing that violates the separation of church and state.
The Business Desk is sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. Drivers in St. Louis paying less at the pump today, but they're still not seeing the cheapest prices in the state. The average here dropped to $2.77 a gallon. That's above the state's low of just $2.52 in Joplin. AAA says overall prices are down 6 cents statewide, and that trend is expected to continue thanks to falling oil prices and weaker demand.
It is 8:09. Traffic and weather are next.
Coverage varies by plan, view contracts, and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
This is an announcement to all United States vehicle owners who own a 2003 or newer vehicle with a manufacturer's warranty about to expire or no warranty coverage at all. With a struggling economy and the cost of living on the rise, Endurance is now offering an affordable, low-cost vehicle coverage plan to the general public. As of today, you could be one of millions of drivers that now may qualify to have your vehicle protected under this coverage and have all future covered auto repairs paid directly to the repair shop for you. You pick your plan. You pick your deductible. You even pick the repair shop. Roadside service, towing, and rental coverage is included. Get your vehicle protected now and save your wallet from costly vehicle repairs. A toll-free number has been established for you to call for your free 5-minute quote and to see if you qualify. The number to call is 800-298-4932. 800-298-4932. Again, that's 800-298-4932.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it.
100% on time, 100% guaranteed, 100% wow. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath delivers all that, all in 3 days. Here's how it works. Create a kitchen idea, give them 3 days, and suddenly your kitchen becomes the centerpiece of your home. A place where everyone gathers no matter how much room you have in the house. Every project is 100% on time, 100% guaranteed, and 100% wow. Invest in your family and your home. Invest in a kitchen with 3-Day Kitchen and Bath. 3-Day Kitchen offers a 100% satisfaction guarantee and will complete the job to your liking, guaranteed. They're in and out of your home in 3 days or less with top quality products and a great crew. And they're finished on time with no delays. Get details now. Start at 3daykitchenandbath.com. That's the number 3, then daykitchen.com. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Now, the news at 1, the fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Let's get a check on the roads from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center Captain Roger Brand.
Well, it's an easygoing Friday morning out there, John. We have a little bit of traffic backed up. Of course, there's that restriction, the closure of Double M at Highway T in Labadee. So south of there, traffic's sort of backed up. The only highway delay we have is just a little slowdown, 55 at 67 northbound. They're going to close the King Bridge in about 20 minutes, scheduled to be shut down both directions completely, the King Bridge from 8:30 this morning until about 3:30 this afternoon. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today will be partly sunny and very warm with a high of 84. Then we'll have some clouds and a low of 67 tonight. It stays breezy and warm. There could be a thunderstorm northwest of the city late. A couple of showers and heavy thunderstorms can bring flooding, downpours, hail, damaging winds, even a tornado tomorrow. High tomorrow 75. Clouds give way to sun, high 68 Sunday. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Heather Zayer on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Time for the Friday edition of Hancock and Kelley.
You two belong together.
John Hancock, Michael Kelley on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Good morning, John Hancock.
Hey there, big boy. Your view is occluded from me this morning because of this large computer screen in front of me.
I don't know if you heard the weather there, but there's a chance that we might get some rain. I don't think we've had rain in over a month.
It's been a long time. We need some rain. I had to go out there and water the flowers last night.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Good for you. What do you got, mums this time of year?
Oh, buddy, I don't know what these things are. They're in these pots. They're quite lovely.
Right.
All around, and there's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
right.
There's like 12 of them.
Okay.
12 of these big pots on the patio. And there I was with my hose out there during the football game, watering the flowers.
Impressive. Well, John, yesterday, October the 16th, 2000, was 25 years ago. And it was a defining day in Missouri, and for that matter, the nation at the time, when Governor Carnahan, his son Randy, and Chris Sifford, a young staffer of Governor Carnahan's, died in a plane crash just south of St. Louis here in the midst of a storm. It was that happened, as you and I both lived, during a Senate race where Mel Carnahan, the incumbent governor, was running against John Ashcroft, the incumbent United States senator. And it had the eyes of the world on this race. And we went into some uncharted political territory, did we not?
Yeah, we did. So at that time, my kids were 6 and 3. And the Cardinals were playing the Mets. It was a deciding game in the playoffs. And I had settled in, sitting down. I was keeping score of the game.
Wow.
In a scorebook. And the phone rang. And so I probably had back in 2000, it probably was a flip phone. Remember those?
Sure.
And I heard about the crash. And so I immediately got up and drove to the office. We had what we call a victory office.
Sure.
At that time. It was a coordinated campaign. So the presidential race, the Bush campaign was in there. Catherine Hanaway was running the coordinated campaign for the Republicans in 2000. And I got out to the office. I was on Page right across from Carroll House Furniture.
Right.
And got there, and we're all kind of, nobody knew what was going to happen. And
it really wasn't clear right after the plane crash till almost midnight that this was in fact the case.
Right.
Correct? Yeah.
Yeah. And it took a while. And my most vivid memory of that night was it came to me that we had some pretty vicious mail pieces going out about Mel Carnahan. And I thought, oh man, is there any way we can stop it? And so we called the direct mail vendor, and he said, hey, I think the trucks are taking them to the post office. And somehow or another, we got on the phone with the truck drivers. There were 2 of them, and had them pull over and not deliver that mail to the post office. That was really something. It was just a surreal set of events.
At a similar situation, I was living in Brentwood Forest right there at Highway 40 and 170, where I think everybody in St. Louis resides for once in their life, or at least spends at least once a night there. So anyway, I got a phone call on, like you said, it could have been those old Nokia phones, or it could have been the flip phone. I don't remember, but it was actually from former Mayor Vince Shamel.
Oh, wow. Who
had said to me, hey, I've heard this. Had you? And I said, no, Vince, I hadn't. And then, of course, the evening's events spiraled, and we later learned the tragic nature of what happened. And what was really a horrible storm. It popped up, and the governor's plane went down. There was misdirection, and he was trying to get, I think, to a fundraiser on the other side of the state.
In New Madrid.
Missouri. And so at that time, my job, I was working for the AFL-CIO. I was their political director.
Yeah.
And if you'll remember, and I guess maybe 2 or 3 days after that, there was going to be a debate at Washington University between Al Gore and George W. Bush. And we truly did have the eyes of the world on us in St. Louis at that time. And I was in preparation for a pre-debate party, a post-debate party where they were going to do it at the Carpenters Hall, etc. And then the world just spiraled, and we were all lost for us sometime. I can't imagine what it was like on your side, but these were people that we were all out working for. We all knew them. Their cell phone numbers were in my phone at the time. And it really just was a sad couple of days. Obviously there were some extremely courageous and heroic people who came out of that. And Mrs. Carnahan, I'd put at the top of that list. I'd also put up there Roger Wilson. He winds up going in and becoming governor and really navigates. I think what people may not remember, and politics has changed drastically since 25 years ago, but this was a vicious campaign between these two men. This was bare knuckle politics. I mean, there were accusations of racism and of, personal stuff. I mean, these guys were going, they were two powerhouses who not only had the biggest donors in Missouri behind them, but the biggest Democratic and Republican donors across the country focused on this race.
Yeah, this was probably the toughest, tightest Senate race in Missouri history between a Democrat and a Republican. And I remember sitting in that office that night, and Ashcroft's campaign manager was there. Catherine Hanaway was there as well, and everybody was there. And you begin speculating. Well, I knew, because I had just run for Secretary of State 4 years earlier. I knew the election law, and I said to them that night, I said, hey, guys, it's too late to take his name off the ballot, and nobody believed me. And but that's what ended up playing out, and of course he won posthumously, and his wife ends up getting appointed to the seat.
And I don't think it should be lost. And look, I spent most of my young adult life fighting John Ashcroft, but he carried himself with incredible dignity and grace in those couple of weeks after it. And he had to have seen what was happening. The polling was coming, that he was likely going to lose as a result of this, but he continued to remain full of class.
He did, and he resisted calls to legally challenge things. I mean, he really did step up to the plate. Well, that's Michael Kelley, and I'm John Hancock. It's Total Information AM. Chris and Amy just around the corner. We'll talk to you soon right here on KMOX.
Let's get a check on traffic in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. Here comes Roger Brand.
Well, Michael, it's a great run on the highways right now. This traffic report service of Saks Financial. I don't see any delays even in the construction zone, so we'll just give you a heads up about construction road work going on. Again, in about 10 minutes, they're scheduled to shut down the King Bridge completely both directions from 8:30 to 3:30 today. We're going to have weekend restrictions. Central Avenue under 55 in Festus is going to be closed tonight at 7 till about 5 Monday morning. We'll also have the bigger problem is the weekend closure westbound 44 at 270. That'll be closed 10 tonight till about 5 Monday morning. There'll be no access westbound 44. The ramp from Watson will be shut down, and North 270, you won't be able to get onto westbound 44 either. Next update at 8:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It is 64 degrees in downtown St. Louis. We'll hit a high of 81. Potential storms on the future for tomorrow.
Hey, it's Jeff Sachs at Sachs Financial. Did you know that you have a pension and there are ways to maximize how you take it? That's right. It's called Social Security. Find out more at retiresafestl.com/guide. That's retiresafestl.com/guide.
Lombardo Homes welcomes you to the Village at Twin Creeks in Cottleville. Grand opening Saturday, October 18th. This exclusive community features just 9 estate-sized home sites with floor plans ranging from 2,600 to 4,000 square feet. The Village at Twin Creeks Creeks offers the perfect blend of luxury and lifestyle and is walking distance to quaint shops and restaurants on Main Street. Located west of Highway N and north of St. Charles Street, this is your chance to build the home you've always imagined in one of St. Charles County's most desirable locations. For more, visit lombardohomes.com.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. If you or anyone in your family has been injured in a car accident, call us now, as the time to file a claim may be limited. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before, protecting America, fighting for you. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Sponsored by Progressive. We make the claims process easy so you can get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at progressive.com.
It's Total Information AM on KMOX, Hancock and Kelley style. That's right. We'll take you all the way to the top of the hour. We'll be joined by Chris and Amy. Yesterday, John, a historic day in KMOX lore as Dave Glover's show celebrated 25 years on KMOX or on radio.
Right. A remarkable career. A guy who started off his professional life as an attorney, ended up taking a gig on the radio. And I remember in the early days of the Glover show, which was over at 97.1 at the time, he was a phenomenon. And people started telling me about him. This was, 25 years ago, and it just such a different kind of format and fun, informative, entertaining. And to do that day in and day out for 25 years and to stay fresh is truly a remarkable achievement.
I have to confess, I didn't really know Dave until the last 8-9 years because he was over on the other station. Right. So I assumed he was, conservative talk. He's anything but that. He's talk on all sides of an issue and all sides of everything. I'm fortunate to get to call him a friend now. I know you are too. Yeah. He's just a good dude. I enjoy hanging out with him. If you get a chance, you should do yourself a favor, go back to the podcast from yesterday and listen to it.
Outstanding. Yeah, it really was outstanding.
And it will grab your heartstrings.
And it brought back people from the early days of the show. And, there just aren't that many people that survive that many years in this medium, in this market. And he's done it, and he continues to be at the top of the game. And he's got a great supporting cast as well.
Kev, Rachel, Andrew, they're the best. Hey, how many years has it been for us on KMOX? 16?
17.
17 years. We're coming for you, Dave. Hey, this morning I'm driving down Olive.
Okay.
A black dog walked in front of my car.
All right.
He looked like he may have been running from home, getting out, checking things out. And it occurred to me, we're getting close to Halloween, and if it was a black cat, everybody would have said, oh my gosh, you have bad luck. Why do we pick on black cats? Because I got to tell you, that black dog going in front of me freaked me out a little bit.
But the black dog is not a thing. The black cat is a thing and has been for quite some time.
From what? Where does the black cat
I
thing
have to
come
take
from?
you back to ancient Egypt.
Whatever.
And the cat's
the pharaohs.
And the cat's a big deal back, and then
Uh-huh.
And the black cat running in front of the temple was something bad happened, Every time. Every time there was a black cat running across the temple, something bad happened in Egypt. And that is the origin of the black cat being a foreboding presence.
I'm not sure I buy this, but it was a pretty good thing that you just dreamt up there.
Thank you, buddy.
It brought a chuckle from our producer, Frank Ladd.
Happy birthday, Frank, by the way.
Happy birthday, Frank Ladd. Boy, if you listen to KMOX Total Information AM every day, you may not realize it, but Frank Ladd is what keeps you on time. Make sure that weather, traffic, and news is coming at you on time.
Well,
and he's doing it at what, 28 years old today?
Yeah, whatever he is. It's 8:27 though, and this time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelley, heating and air conditioning, electrical, and plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
JerryKelley.com. Changing the weather.
Fall.
Changing the weather.
Weather.
Something's happening, yeah.
Temps turning cooler. Days getting shorter. We'll help you weather the weather with the latest forecast from 2 meteorologists and severe weather coverage when needed from the Salika Heating and Cooling Storm Center.
Changing the weather.
The weather. We've got it covered on 104.1 FM KMOX.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit information kit. 800-384-9393. That's 800-384-9393.
Are you tired of online threats? Then get an antivirus. It's the only online protection you will ever need.
Disclaimer: an antivirus is just half protection online. It will not protect you from snoopers or encrypt your traffic. So get better online protection with NordVPN. NordVPN will encrypt your traffic, protect you from malware and phishing, and stop annoying ads. Save 77% on NordVPN and get 3 extra months.
Hi, it's Margaret from Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano. Life is change. An election, an illness, a death. And questions. What about my family? My retirement? My estate? Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano stand ready to help you plan for your life changes and protect what matters to you. They have listened, planned, and executed thousands of estate plans, taxes, and legal documents for over 30 years, right here in St. Louis. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano make it easy to get started. Go to their website, yourestatematters.com, and request their free webinar. It focuses on simple legal strategies and their process. Then schedule your free personal consultation. Life is change. Plan now. Your estate matters because you matter. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, yourestatematters.com. Choice of an attorney is an important decision that should not be based solely on advertising.
The Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center is Roger Brand.
Well, Michael, this traffic reports the service of Age Smart Community Resources. Traffic's in pretty good shape. It's been in great shape early. It hasn't been bad all morning. It's just a little slow right now. Eastbound 70, Cypress up the hill to Air Flight. If you're on Lindbergh near Missouri Bottom, we had a report of a crash a few minutes ago. Just watch it there. It looks a little busy between Conway and 64 as well. Interstate-wise, though, we're in good shape even in the work zones. No delays. Don't forget the King Bridge scheduled to be shut down now till 3:30 this afternoon. King Bridge closed in both directions. I know a week or two ago they were working just westbound, but the bridge completely closed during the midday, 8:30 to 3:30. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, it's going to crawl up to 84 degrees this afternoon. That's pretty hot for October. And tonight, overnight low of 65 degrees.
1 in 4 employees is also a caregiver. The CARES program connects them with expert support, helping reduce stress, boost retention, and save your business money. Learn more at hsmart.org or call 618-222-2561, serving 7 counties in Southwest Illinois.
Baseball not taking place in St. Louis in October this year, John, but still moving on. The Dodgers last night continuing what looks to be a steamrolling of the Brewers 3-1.
I tell you, the Brewers, they had the best record in baseball this year, and it surprised everybody. But if there's a franchise that's more snake bit in the postseason, I can't think of who it is. Certainly not of recent vintage. The Brewers just can't get there.
Well, and it feeds the narrative, and the question is whether or not anybody can compete with the Dodgers with all that money. So who knows? That conversation will continue to linger. But hey, they've got to go to the World Series potentially and face either the Blue Jays or the Mariners. I got to tell you, watching Max Scherzer last night, all fired up. I'm rooting for this Blue Jays team.
Yeah, and I've got a soft spot for the Mariners because they've never been to a World Series. It's the longest such drought in the history of baseball. They've never been to a World Series. And so, and they've got, of course, the great catcher Cal Raleigh, who people learned about this year because he hit 60 home runs. He's a switch hitter. It's a good ball club. I mean, they're both good ball clubs. I was surprised that the Mariners won 2 games in Toronto, and now Toronto's come back and won 2 games in Seattle, and that's going to be a really interesting rest of that series.
Yeah, and potentially the Dodgers could be sitting on the bench for a while. Will it make them go cold? Who knows? We'll find out. Speaking of cold, the Padres, after going to the playoffs again this year, announced that Mike Shildt has retired. Of course, this comes after that stunning termination of his employment here in St. Louis after taking the Cardinals to the playoffs.
Yeah.
Mo really didn't say much other than there was differences at the time, differences of opinion. And now we see what's happened in San Diego and what's leaking out.
Well,
Mike Shildt may be a hard guy to deal with.
Every credit to John Mozeliak, who took such a beating for that firing, as Shildt had taken the team to the playoffs 3 years in a row. And, and Mo never said a word. Now everything's come out. The temperament of Mike Shildt apparently is a real problem in the clubhouse and in the front office. And his days managing are probably over.
2 places, 2 times to the playoffs, 2 times relieved of his duty.
Yeah.
Something deep is here.
Yeah, there's no question about that. Absolutely. Well, we're going to step aside, but we will be back after this on Total Information AM.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
And it's time for the Bloomberg Money Report, sponsored by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Stock futures pointing to a significant drop ahead of trading fueled by doubts over the credit health of regional U.S. banks. 2 banks disclosed bad loans, and it's spooking investors. The Department of Agriculture is now warning if the government shutdown continues, funding for food stamps will run out next month. A letter to state agencies viewed by Bloomberg shows millions will get SNAP benefits through October, but there may not be enough to pay full benefits in November. Spotify is teaming up with record labels, including Sony, Universal, and Warner Music, to develop artists' first AI music products. The streamer didn't get into too many details, but says those tools will respect copyright and allow artists to choose whether they want to use it. Spotify already uses an AI DJ and comes up with AI playlists for users. And Apple and Peacock are teaming up on a new streaming bundle for $15 a month. That new package will offer live pro sports, movies, and popular shows like Ted Lasso and The Morning Show. It'll be available on Monday. Monica Ricks, Bloomberg Radio.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal?
Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
It's the Medicare Advantage annual enrollment period, and Humana knows not everyone has the same needs when picking a Medicare Advantage plan.
Now that I'm retired, I want to enjoy the life I've worked hard to build. So I want a plan that covers me when I'm traveling the country.
Humana has a plan for that.
As a veteran, I want a plan that fills in the gaps my VA coverage doesn't provide, like dental care.
Humana has a plan for that.
I feel good about my health. I just want care and coverage with predictable costs. No surprises.
Humana has a plan for that. With a Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you get coverage and benefits that focus on what matters most to you. Learn more at gethumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
This month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, we are discussing breast cancer with Dr. Debbie Bennett.
It's a great reminder to take care of yourself. I think people are so busy throughout the year taking care of everybody else. Seeing all the pink around in October is a really excellent time to take a step back and make sure that you are here to continue taking care of everybody else for a very long time.
Thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.wustl.edu.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com. Red Kingdom is back at FanDuel Sports Network Live in Ballpark Village. See every game on the largest screen in town. Don't forget about the $25 buckets, $5 cocktails, and the best tailgate food around. Grab your friends along with Kingdom OX and huddle up for the games at the best watch party in town. If you can't make it, but don't want to miss it down, listen to the Chiefs on Kingdom OX or Kingdom OX on the Odyssey app. For more info, kingdomox.com/events.
I'm Scott Jagow. Here are some of the stories we're following this morning. John Bolton arrived at a federal courthouse today to surrender to authorities on 18 charges. The former Trump administration national security advisor is accused of storing top secret records at home and sharing classified information with relatives. Missouri's attorney general says she's tired of Republicans playing defense. That's why she's filed a federal lawsuit to block the possibility of a public vote on a redistricting map. Missouri is seeing its highest West Nile virus activity in years. One troubling trend is the number of blood donors testing positive. 3 people have died this year.
Captain Roger Brand is standing by in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, things are doing okay. The only place we're having some delays is on eastbound 70 right now, Michael. This traffic reports service of overhead door company of St. Louis. There was debris eastbound 70. I mentioned earlier that slowdown approaching the airport there, eastbound 70 air flight. MoDOT says they just picked up the debris, but there's slow traffic back through Lindbergh, almost to the Rock Road on eastbound 70 right now. I'm sure it'll thin out pretty quickly because there's nothing impeding your way now. Other than that, we just have that slowdown north 55 approaching 67. And on eastbound Highway 64, there's a little heavy traffic approaching McKnight. There may be a minor incident there as well. And don't forget, Kingbridge is closed both directions now till 3:30 this afternoon. I'm Roger Brand in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
This report is sponsored by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis.
If you need a new garage door, this could be your lucky day. Entries are now open for the $5,000 sweepstakes at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. A winner will be chosen at random to receive $5,000 towards new garage doors, openers, or front entry doors of their choice. Enter now at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
And welcome back to Total Information AM, Hancock and Kelley edition. This is our political segment. John, busy week in politics. Let's try to get through as many of these things as we can.
All right.
News broke yesterday that John Bolton, the former national security advisor to Donald Trump, who was fired and now has become a Donald Trump critic, was indicted on over 18 counts of sharing classified information with his wife and daughter. This is on the heels of the indictments of James Comey and Letitia James. All of these people are pronounced enemies of President Trump. I would argue this John Bolton indictment is a bit different, though, because he was sharing classified information over a non-secure transmission, and it's a clear violation of what he's allowed to do.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I think that, he's probably, well, I'm not going to pronounce judgment on him, but there's more substance to this than the indictments of Comey and James, for sure. The irony of this, of course, is that the president, Donald Trump, when he was the former president, had hundreds of classified documents and obstructed efforts to retrieve them by the federal government. So it is ironic that this is what John Bolton has been charged with, and I think they're, serious charges.
Well, I think it's serious charges, and it's they all stem back from 2018 to 19. He was doing diary entries. He was then sending that email over an AOL account to his wife and daughter, a clear violation of the law. I think he's going to find himself in some serious peril while the other ones aren't. But the biggest credit that he may have going for him is Donald Trump is publicly out there attacking him. So it looks like a targeted prosecution, and that could be problematic.
That will be a defense that will be employed, I'm certain. That, if you can prove that you're being prosecuted for political reasons, he may be able to slide on this thing.
The government shutdown continues with no end in sight. We had another ceremonial vote in the Senate the other day where they essentially voted on the same thing that keeps getting rejected.
Right.
Neither side, neither the Democrats and Republicans, have had a meeting to sit and come to some type of negotiation or compromise. Mike Johnson kind of becoming the voice of the administration, pushing back. At the same time, he's holding back a new congressional member from coming into Congress who wants to release the Epstein files. This is all tied together with our budget. Our government is shut down, the longest shutdown I can remember at any time. Nobody seems to care, and there's no movement to fix it.
Yeah, and I thought initially that this thing would be resolved in a couple of weeks. Well, we're beyond that now, and no real end in sight. And I will say that most of the country is not feeling this, at this point. And this is now the umpteenth shutdown we've had in the last 30 years. Never used to happen before.
Right.
What will cause this to change is when real people start being hurt by the shutdown. If air traffic controllers just decide they're going to quit, or TSA just decides they're not coming in anymore, they're not getting paid, and the air travel in this country shuts down, you'll have a government shutdown resolved then.
And unfortunately, that looks like what it's going to take to get these people to sit in a room together.
I think that's right.
You can see the anger and animosity between two sides is going to be on full display this weekend, as there's a No Kings rally that's being organized all across the country. This is kind of the ilk from the Women's March that took place right after Donald Trump was elected the last time. There's anticipation that these are going to be big marches across the country. Will they make a difference? Will this president pay attention?
What I'm concerned about is altercations that will occur when, let's say that a number of Donald Trump supporters show up at these rallies, things get contentious. You've already got federal troops in, a few United States cities. Interestingly, I couldn't find any. Looked online as you did. I couldn't find any reference to a St. Louis march. So apparently
there's reference to it, but I don't know what time and where it's going to take place. It's not easy to find on the internet. I've seen several of them. I would assume it's going to be in downtown St. Louis. But
you would think Antifa would be a little more organized.
Oh, it's not Antifa. It's regular people like me. And wherever that march is tomorrow, I'll be there, John Hancock.
You're going, eh?
I'm going to. And I will not be watched over by the sheriff of the city of St. Louis, Alfred Montgomery. That circus continues, although he finds himself in jail today. He's under federal indictment. He's got state charges against him, a quo going forward from the Attorney General's office.
And federal charges.
Yeah. And he's liking himself to Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks. It's laughable. He doesn't seem to have much political support, and he seems to be pointing out the lunacy of St. Louis city politics. Am I correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a good look, to be certain. And, he was one of those elected officials that kind of came in with this progressive sweep, right?
Megan Green endorsed him, support him, Tashara Jones,
Green,
both.
Tashara Jones, Kim Gardner, Corey Bush, and now Sheriff Montgomery. I don't think he is much longer to be sheriff, but, Hanaway and her predecessor, Andrew Bailey, both tried to force Montgomery out, and the judge in St. Louis did not acquiesce to that.
Right. Here's the problem I see. Look, the Democrats' biggest message right now is look at the overreach of government in Jefferson City and Washington, D.C. It's hard to be pointing to Jefferson, seeing this is government overreach with the way that this sheriff has behaved. I'm surprised other political leaders in St. Louis haven't stood up with the mayor and said it's time for him to go.
Well, that's an excellent point. We are about a half a dozen weeks into the National Football League schedule, and things are shaking out. Lots of surprises. We're going to check in with our NFL insider next on KMOX.
Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best. Oh, man, I was just talking about this beautiful fall weather for the next several days. Wouldn't it be nice to be outside on your new patio, your new deck overlooking your backyard? Perhaps when it gets really cold, you don't want to have all the elements, but you just want to have the sunroom. Or in the summer, you'd love to sit outside, but you don't want to deal with all the bugs or the thunderstorms. You could have a nice screen room. Now I'm opening your eyes to some possibilities, aren't I? Chesterfield Fence and Deck can do all of that for you and more. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best. And they do fences and decks. That's in their name. Yes, they're also in Chesterfield. That is in their name, but they cover the entire St. Louis area. Chesterfield Fence and Deck. They have a great deal. If you mention my name, Tom Ackerman, you'll receive 20% off your next outdoor project. We're talking about a company that has done this since 1968. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the premier fence and deck company in St. Louis. Chesterfield Fence and Deck, the sign you have the very best.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
As the leaves of autumn tumble to the ground, they declare a shift to the cold winds and drifting snow that foretell the epic weeks in the grinding push to the Super Bowl in the National Football League. Heroes are born in the fall and come of age in the winter. Dynasties rise or cease to exist. The passion, the drama, the sheer jubilation. All of our emotions lead us to a triumphant conclusion for just one team in the National Football League. And joining us is our NFL insider from Chicago, Illinois, John Hancock. How are you, John? Well, I guess he's doing okay, but we can't hear him.
Yeah. John, you there?
Technical difficulties.
Well, John Hancock
Yes,
Sr.,
Yes.
I watched the game last night between the Steelers and the Bengals. The two oldest players in NFL football were playing against each other last night. Joe Flacco, who's in his second week with the Cincinnati Bengals.
He looked good last night.
Yeah, taking on Aaron Rodgers, who we know the saga of Aaron Rodgers from Green Bay to the Jets and now to the Steelers, loses it in the last minute. Although the last play of the game, Aaron Rodgers at 41 years old hurled that ball 70 yards down the field.
Yeah, I know. That was incredible, and it was almost completed.
Yeah.
You know, and when you get a situation like that, you know, anything can happen, pass interference or, you know, but that was remarkable. 70 yards in the air.
We are now, 6-7 weeks into the season. And joining us now is the NFL insider, John Hancock Jr. Welcome, my friend. And we're now 6-7 weeks into the season. We're starting to see what teams are emerging. John, I've got to tell you, I've been a little disappointed in the Kansas City Chiefs, but I've been looking up at those Chicago Bears. They've been finding a way to win.
They have. I mean, the Bears 3 in a row. No love lost between Troy Aikman and Caleb Williams, if you listen to that broadcast. But Caleb has been perfectly adequate, learning a new offense with Coach Ben Johnson this year. The future looks bright in Chicago. This year may be a learning curve for them. And they are in the toughest division of football in that NFC North. But, you know, they're hanging around, and must-win game against the Saints coming up this weekend.
What do you make of the Seattle Seahawks? That's a team I wasn't expecting much from this year. They look like they might be for real.
They do. And how about Sam Darnold? I mean, a lot of people thought he was a flash in the pan. He was caught in the system with the Minnesota Vikings last year, but he has looked like the real deal. That team is humming along. The defense is strong. Smith and Jugba, the wide receiver, has emerged as one of the top targets in all of football. The Seattle Seahawks are definitely going to flirt for that division and in the wild card, definitely.
Yeah, you talk about Sam Darnold, and he and Baker Mayfield, both in the same draft class, both with, you know, admittedly rough starts in their NFL career, both now look to be premier quarterbacks. What do you make of that?
Yeah, it just shows in the NFL how important the coaching and the team atmosphere is. I mean, Baker in Cleveland looks like a different guy now. You know, he spent a game or so with Sean McVay in LA, got to Tampa and Todd Bowles and that winning culture. And he's really emerged, reached his full potential, which we did not see when he was with Cleveland. Sam Darnold, the Jets, another loser, languishing franchise. And Daniel Jones, look at that. He was with the New York Giants. And, I mean, people thought he was washed, he was done, he was a bust. And he's got the Indianapolis Colts humming right along.
Bob Kraft and the New England Patriots find themselves with a good start to the season. This is the first time they've seen a glimmer of hope from my perspective since the loss of Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. Am I correct?
Absolutely. They had that 1 year with Mac Jones, but other than that, it has been nothing good up in New England. They made the quick decision to fire Gerard Mayo, the coach, last year. Then they got their guy, Mike Vrabel. And Drake May looks like the real deal. He has 5 games in a row with a passer rating over 100. Obviously, first Patriot to do that since Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr.
Well, that's right. You know, just so many surprises. When Green Bay started the season, I thought that's the best team in football, and they've fallen off. I think the Philadelphia Eagles, the defending champions, have looked underwhelming. And the Dallas Cowboys, what's the matter there?
Yeah, so the Cowboys, this is about what we expected once they traded Micah Parsons. Their defense just isn't up to par in the NFL. Dak Prescott actually is probably having his best statistical season now. That offense is a real threat. They're a team that I would say they can win any given Sunday, no matter the opponent, based on Dak and how that offense is performing. But that defense is not consistent enough for them to, I think, make the playoffs.
We got half a minute. Who's going to win the Super Bowl this year?
Well, my dark horse pick at the start of the year, I was a doubter, I was a hater, I was a disbeliever, but I'm rolling with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Big Show. And Todd Bowles taking it all the way.
Well, there you go. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You heard it here.
Go Baker.
That's our NFL insider, John Hancock from Chicago, Illinois. Chris and Amy are next on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
It's Friday, and we've got Hancock and Kelley, and we'll ask them our question of the week. Do politicians swear too much? Plus, it's Friday, so we've got our no-prize football pick'em with celebrity guest Kyle McClellan. It all starts at 9 a.m. on the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Hey, this is Charlie Brown.